fair crack at it, but West Coast get the win.
Here come the Hawks out onto ANZ Stadium. This is going to be a cracking game.
This is going to be a ripper.
4-point margin last time, Mick and Richo, and
yeah.
I reckon we'll see some fireworks tonight.
These guys are in really, really good form. They're going for 7 in a row. They absolutely towed up Fremantle, Lingy down in Lonnie on Sunday.
Fremantle last week.
They just chewed them up and spat them out. They were outstanding around the clearances, and they're really clicking into gear, moving into the right stage of the season.
Won 6 in a row, the Hawks, by an average margin of 44 points, and played good teams, and tonight is an absolute builder and has a lot of significance in terms of the top 4 as well. So out come the Hawks, and they are ready to roll here at ANZ Stadium. Bit of rain around, but otherwise the ground, which has had dramas in the past, in pretty good condition. So looking forward to this one, Beck.
Mick, I've worked on quite a few shows where we've had wine under the desk, but not perhaps on the desk. What on earth are you doing?
Well, I'm finished now, so I'm going to enjoy a few cheeky wines.
Oh, are you?
I'm enjoying this one. It's the Sam Mitchell 2015, but sadly this one's corked. Thank you.
Well, that was good. That was good.
That's why I'm on the big bucks.
You spent all day working on that one, did you?
Pretty happy with that.
He's been waiting for that.
Oh, mate. Have you ever seen a man so happy with himself? There is Sam Mitchell. He's out there tonight, coming off a 39 possession game last week too.
I tell you what, he's playing great footy, Sam Mitchell, and great to see that man back there. Number 2, Jared Ruffhead. We just heard after Richo spoke to him during the week what he's been through. Great to see him back out on the footy field, but that is just a quality football team. Just stars everywhere in that Hawthorn lineup.
And it's their defence. Their defence has been so good. Since round 9, they're the #1 ranked defence, that Hawthorn defence. Having a look at the Sydney lineup, a few changes there. Nang Curvis comes in. Mike Pike is out injured with a knee injury, but the big inclusion, Teddy Richards is back from that concussion. He'll have a big job to do, obviously, tonight. I think he'll play on Jared Ruffhead or maybe a Jack Gunston type. But this man here, Lingy, he's in, if it wasn't for Nat 5, he'd be the next in line for the Brownlow medal, I'd say.
Yeah, almost him and Todd Goldstein are the only two you think who could win the Brownlow other than Nat 5. He's running hard, he is as tough as nails, and it's almost he's set himself to have a huge year and drag his teammates along to make up for last year's grand final performance. He's a star, Dan Hanbury. Brian Lake will play a very important role, you'd imagine, tonight, Richo.
Yeah, well, that whole back line, because you've got Lake, you've got Gibson, but I reckon Spanger's been important coming back in because Spanger can lock down on someone. It lets Gibson roll off and take the intercept marks.
And there's a couple of question marks about whether or not Hawthorn was starting to get a little bit old, a few players over 30. Well, the skipper, he's one of those guys. He's wound the clock back. He looks fitter than ever. He's harder than ever. And if you body up and take overhead marks against Nat 5, I reckon you're still at the absolute top of your game. He leads so well. He plays so well. He's a great player. Speaking about leading so well, those guys at the front there for the Swans, they set the standard. Kieran Jack, Jared McVeigh so well. Josh Kennedy. That's the great thing about tonight. Both teams, just stars everywhere.
Yeah, if Hawthorn win tonight, they actually go past the Sydney Swans, but the Swans win, they pull away, and it makes it really hard for Hawthorn to make the top 2 if they don't win tonight.
Round 8 was big for the Swans when they knocked the Hawks off by 4 points, but you never, ever forget a grand final loss. Sydney will come out just as fiercely tonight.
There was a bit of noise out here at ANZ Stadium as the Swans entered the arena. So the Swans are ready to roll, and so are we. First bounce next. Thank you to Mick Malloy.
Thank you.
Thank you to Beck Madden, who did a great job. BT is in outstanding calling form. The first bounce, it's the Swans and the Hawks next.
Both alike in dignity. In Sydney, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge, break to new rivalry. Where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the cities of these two foes, 2 teams of star-crossed warriors take the field, whose misadventured, piteous overthrows will at the final siren a victor yield.
It does not get better than that.
The Sydney-Hawthorn rivalry is one of Shakespearean proportions, a tale of bravery and betrayal.
Oh, buddy!
Of tragedy
really been banged up here.
and triumph.
This flag team
best team of the modern era. Produces its masterpiece.
After their grand final collapse, the Swans have shown they're desperate for redemption in 2015.
And Sydney, after an electric start, have won. And they move 2 games clear of Hawthorn on the ladder.
Is this a preview of the ultimate fight for September glory?
Cometh the moment, cometh the champion.
As they charge into the breach once more, the Swans and Hawks must ask, is it to be or not to be? This is Saturday Night Footy.
Monster game here at ANZ Stadium tonight.
All right, in the year, Isaac, when you're ready, Steve. It's cool. It's a tap. All right, good luck, guys. Enjoy. Enjoy, mate. Have a good night.
So ready to get underway here at ANZ Stadium. Good night. No rain on the radar. There has been rain during the week. They had about an inch of rain up until noon yesterday. But the conditions of this ground are in pretty good nick, despite the aesthetic look from the cameras here. The actual ground surface is pretty damn good. And just an awesome team last week. Hawthorn kicking 17 goals against the league leaders and perhaps premiership favourites for many, the Fremantle Dockers. And here they are tonight with another challenge against the Sydney Swans, who just got over the line back in round 8. Das and Richo, good evening and welcome to you once again. Expecting a great game with 2 solid teams tonight.
They certainly are. Really excited for this one. Since that round 8 game, they lost by 4 points. The Hawks have won their next 6. Richo by an average of 44 points. And they are shaping again as the team to beat. The Swans, you never get over a grand final loss, and they'll be keen to get a second win for the year right here tonight.
Well, in those 6 weeks that you talk about, their form's been outstanding. They've won 22 of 24 quarters, and the 2 quarters they did lose were by 1 and 2 points. So their form has been consistent, and it's hard to see a team like that with form that they have actually losing tonight, but they're playing the Swans on their home deck, and they've played here 3 times. The Swans have won 2 of those, BT.
Yes, Hawthorn win tonight. They can go above the Swans on the ladder, and if they lose, there'll be 2 games short of them, and it'll be really tough for them to be able to get back on top from here on in until round 23 this year.
Holding, Luke Hodge.
Out of the middle, clear call from the umpires. By the way, umpires tonight, Matt Stevick, Brendan Hoskin and Troy Pennell. As Hawthorn go inside 50, Lewis was in front, couldn't quite get hold of it. Goods, who looks really light on his feet in the last couple of weeks, and lively. A beautiful little ball. Found Smith. Smith, nice ball as well. There's Brandon Jack. Goods again, running. Was just wrong-footed a little, but over the back it got. Did really well, the big fella Nan Curvis, in collecting the ball, but not so good in kicking it.
Great to see Big Ruff back out there. Here he is. He's going to run past for a handball from Lewis. Didn't get it. They started him in the first centre bounce. And he's running around as a tall midfielder at the moment. So here he is, Ruff. Sensational story to have him back from that cancer scare. All clear. It's a beautiful ball to McAvoy, who's in good form as a forward, Richo. Kicked a couple last week.
Yeah, he was good last week down in Launceston. Gee, it's a quick game already. We've seen transition from the Swans from one end to the other, and then vice versa. The Hawks have done the same thing there. Good overlap from Ruffy. He pushed really hard to get this handball received there. Good to see him back, the big man. Nothing fancy about that. Just get it in there and let McAvoy create a contest, takes a nice mark.
If he can add a couple of goals a week to his game, he becomes such an important player. The big boy McAvoy to kick the first one, and he's kicked it straight through. The Hawks get the first.
Lingy, what do you make of the improved form of big boy McAvoy?
Well, as Richo was just talking about earlier, just the fact that he can kick goals is the important part. You can't play the 2 ruckmen if those ruckmen can't get forward and kick goals. That's what McAvoy's doing. Great to see. Really valuable asset.
Kennedy had the ball knocked out in the tackle there. Jimmy Reid ran over the top of the footy. Lewis as well. One out Cunningham. A little high tackle there by Schoenmakers.
Straight up.
On Parker. So Parker a chance to just ease the ball out. Bruce might have got a piece of it. He did. The umpire calls play on. There's the slingshot player for Sydney and Rampy. They'll have to keep an eye on him off half back as now Sam Reid. Good grab in front of Gunston.
That's fantastic play by Sam Reid. He's lined up on a wing on Jack Gunston, and it was really good movement then. He ran down inside the 50, turned Gunston around and made him defend as a defender. Really good start for Sam Reid.
See, Buddy was desperate to get it in the pocket, but Sam says, no, I've got this one pretty well covered, and couldn't be further from the truth.
That's shank. That's a shank, that one, from Sam Reid.
That's hard to explain how bad he kicked that, Sam Reid. It was 15 rows back. He just shinned it out of bounds on the fall. Let's have a look at this.
Good to there, but the drop, he over-rotated the footy.
Horrendous ball drop. Now Hodge, speaking of good form, combines with his old mate Sam Mitchell.
Hey, Lingy, is Bird going to run around with Mitchell, do you think?
I think he will, Richo. I think that most teams now have identified Sam Mitchell's the one who kickstarts so much of that Hawthorn game. He feeds off to those runners. You've got to be able to stop it at the source. So Sydney have identified that, and Bird will have the big job tonight.
So this is Tippett, got a free kick from McAvoy on centre wing. Real one-on-one game at the moment. Matchups all over the ground. Reid started nicely, tried to flick one back to Brandon Jack, couldn't keep it in. Kennedy. And Puopolo on hands and knees in the end. It might come off his toe. It has. It'll be a Swans free kick.
Yes, it was. Definitely off the boot there. Parker. Umpire calls him to go again. Goods lining this up from about 4 deep. Gibson did so well there as Cunningham tried to have a ping at goal. Got it back in play. Clever little play. Centering kick is at 15. The umpire says it's all legal, and Cyril and Sam Mitchell argue with umpire Troy Pennell about the legalities of the length of that kick, but in the meantime, Lloyd's going back.
Yeah, good play. They just kept at it. You see that there, ran out of play there, Cunningham, but got straight back involved.
Boy,
pretty
how's
short.
that 15?
It's not 15, but well done, Cunningham, stayed involved.
So Lloyd, opportunity here for the Swans first, really close, and there you go. That's what can happen.
There's no breeze out there, BT. You had to walk around on the ground before the game. Did you notice any breeze going?
Not a lot. Very cool, which is unusual for Sydney, but not a lot of breeze out there, Richard. The surface was quite good despite the visual appearance.
It doesn't
there
look great, but you reckon it's fine on...
Yeah, it's not too bad. I was surprised. I spoke to Jack Gunston out there, and he thought it was the best it's been for a while. There's Jack with a chiselling, typical left footer to the running Lake. Lake just sends it back down without a lot of thought. He was under some pressure, and Smith on the end of it steadies. Now Shaw. Reece Shaw, what a career. 228 games for Reece Shaw. Got the most out of himself, that's for sure.
The Hawks had a lot of numbers back, and their forward setup just wasn't in the right shape on that entry. As we see Mitchell, who's become a very consistent AFL player, as we all thought he would.
Yeah, the Hawks are only coughing up 67 points a game since round 9. The #1 defence in that time, and they're getting numbers back, forcing the opposition to do this, kick it to contest.
So Spanger was touched off hands, and he was set upon immediately at no prior opportunity.
I reckon Spanger's been really important. He can just lock down on a tall. It lets Gibson and Lake come in and try and take them intercept marks they love to take.
Yeah, he played a career-high 15 games, including the premiership last year. Spanger has only come back into the side a couple of weeks ago after an injury-interrupted start. Here's Parker. Know the quality of Parker. He's going to give it to Jetta, who I think almost fancied his chances, but kicked it straight into the man on the mark. Little fumble from Cyril. We almost never see that. Can't remember the last time it happened. It went through his hands. There's been a little bit of rain out there. He goes back in to get it. Once again, look at the numbers around the footy.
No rain out there, Das. I can assure you of that. He's just had a fumble. I just reckon they're not quite crisp at the moment, Hawthorn. I know the game's only been going a couple of minutes and they'll work into it, but just right at the moment, they're just on the edge a little here as Hawthorn started reasonably okay. Despite that, Hawthorn lead on the scoreboard.
It's not a bad call, Brian, because contested possession is 11-4, so the Swans are just getting in, getting the ball first at the moment.
Speak of Sam Mitchell before, he's had 30-plus disposals, 9 of his past 10 games. If he gets 30 tonight, it'll be the 100th time he's achieved that, and only Robert Harvey, Dane Swan and Gary Ablett have done that before. Lingy used to play on him a lot and keep him reasonably quiet. How do you keep him quiet?
Well, he's just copped a big knock there, BT. I'll come back to that in a second. You guys can see it better from up there. You can Look at that as they come through, just got him in the head. Sam Mitchell is really hurt from that.
And they are not happy, the Hawks players, remonstrating. Teddy Richards, let's take a look, and
you can't.
He's been reported, Ted Richards, and he's in real trouble.
So he's just been placed on report there, Richo.
Well, we know if you hit the head now, you're in strife, so that's all there is to it.
They're deep into attack, come the Hawks again. They defend hard. Rioli gets back, no fumble on that occasion to Hodge. You got good purchase on it to the goal square. Just not quite enough.
Once you make the decision to bump, it's your responsibility what happens after that. And if you get someone high, you probably will be suspended, or you will be.
It's Craig Bird, who was dropped after the loss to the Bulldogs back in round 5. He's been getting a heap of the footy in the knee full back in his spanger. Immediately set upon by Mitchell. Good strong tackle. And a bit of feeling in this one again, as you would expect.
Looking to grind them, they are. They're not any tackle. Then they're trying to grind them into the deck. Little late one there from Buddy Franklin. Opportunity here. Here's Cyril. Shaw keeps him under the footy. So, Lingy, how do you keep Sam Mitchell quiet?
Very difficult to do so, BT, but you've got to be, your concentration has to be 100%. He's a brilliant decision maker, quick decision maker. You've got to be prepared to always be looking around. If he's darting off into the contest, have to be on your money the whole time.
Stratton having a crack at Buddy Franklin there. Now an opportunity for Bird to get it out to the fast-moving Jetta, who's in reverse here at the moment.
Teddy Richards played 245 games. He's never been suspended. He's a fair player, Teddy.
Doesn't mean you can't get it wrong, Richo.
No, he did on that occasion, but it's not his intent. It's not his nature to go out and whack people, Brian.
Welcome back to Teddy after he was knocked out a couple of weeks ago with that tackle on a Thursday night. Here's Jack and conjures something up with his left and misses. So there is a little bit of feeling, as you pointed out, Das. There's little niggles here and there, and looking to finish off the tackle with a bit of extra thrust into the deck they are.
Yep, that certainly is the case, and we expect nothing less from these two great sides. The Swans have had a fair bit of the play in recent times. There's one after disposal and free kick downfield.
Well, that hurts a little bit because they had them trapped in. They can go forward now, Hawthorn.
This is Schoenmakers, who's pushed forward, and he looks up, and there's a few one-on-ones down there. Pioplo wants to get front and centre, out the back. They did well to bring it to ground, and now they're going to get a gift here. Hale run in and kick the easiest of goals. They've kicked the first two, the Hawks.
Just see the reaction from the Hawthorn players after this Teddy Richards bump, and just the reaction immediately from Jared Roughhead to stick up for his teammate there in pulling Teddy Richards to the ground. So we're back on. Hawthorn have kicked the first two. Fast hands Hanbury. Here's Mitchell. Good one to McVeigh. Relieve pressure. Back to Jetta. Gee, they're trying to get it in his hands tonight. Why not? Good at disposing. Richards a little late. Grundy mops up now. Smith. So Sydney in control. That half back. Got it inside. Reid thought about Hanbury.
That late bump was crucial. The Swans have been in control of this game.
Reid with another mung off the instep. That was a horrible kick, but he hit poorly as well. So both touches not good so far. There's Josh Gibson. And now the Mitchell, the man we speak of. What about the company he's going to join if he has 30 plus tonight? Gary Ablett, Dane Swan, then Robert Harvey. So we'll keep an eye on that throughout the evening.
It is elite, the best of the best there. As the Hawks clear defence. Hodge in front of McVeigh. Mitchell, now Jetta's found a bit of the footy early. Opens up now for Brandon Jack. Got some run from Hanbury, but it was the right decision. He was going to run into a fair bit of trouble. At the moment, Buddy Franklin, the only Swan aside from the sub who hasn't touched the footy. Haven't seen him near it. They kick long, and Gibson spent a bit of time on his mate, Buddy, and Mitchell back there cleaning it up. Isaac Smith, so a bit of daring run here through defence and some composure. Back to Gunston. Handball was an errant one. Here comes Franklin. He slides in. Stratton, clever tap on from Good. So the first touch for Buddy just hacks it inside 50, but they have really got their defence sorted out. This is Litherland.
Yep.
Late inclusion for Bradley Hill.
Yeah, Bradley Hill not playing. I believe some sort of calf injury, I think. Richards goes up, couldn't hold the mark, and trying to bust through there was Big Nam Curvis. Schoenmakers to Piopolo. Off the bench, Tippett. Tagged him, that's all he could get done on him though. Now a genuine one-on-one, deep inside 50. Gotta like that. Bruce brilliantly keeping his feet. Bit of a high tackle there. Umpire lets it go. McVeigh steps in, diffuses the situation. Triangle handball set up, bit of a prayer out the back door from McVeigh, but it was nice, and now Kennedy.
So he's going to be aggressive here with this kick, Kennedy. What a beautiful ball that is to Jack. Really opens up the play, but he wanted it long. Not Jack's best effort. Lake's going to go back with courage. Geez, he reads the flight of the ball well. Lake couldn't quite get it. And now Mitchell slices his way through. He's got Tippett. Just too tall for Tippett. Little fumble from Gibson. Hawks defence under pressure. Birchall just wanted to work it towards a teammate. In come the Swans. Yeah, Jack on the run. He's missed one from the same spot. Bouncing footy. And again, back there to clean it up on this occasion are the Hawks through Burgoyne.
And now Lake, confronted by Buddy, but too late. Stratton on the run here, and Schoenmakers as well. Bruce wants it boundary side. Too late now. Roughhead can go over the top here if he wants. And he does that, so Rough involving himself early. Lost none of his great form into Hodge. Hodge careful with the placement of this footy. Looking for Gunston. Got him running towards goal. Hard to stop from here. Just needs to get a boot to it, and he has. Hawthorn have kicked the first 3 of the game.
So 10 inside 50s for 2 points. Hawthorn go in 6 times and kick 3 goals. They're an efficient team, and they always make you pay on the scoreboard. You have to make the most of your opportunities against Hawthorn. If you don't, they go down, and they do that to you.
They're in outstanding form, the Hawks, at the moment. They just look to be really sharp in everything they do. And here comes Shields, tumbles one forward. Piopolo gave a good contest. Hale front and centre. Rolls reversed on that occasion. Back to Lewis. Lewis has got Roughhead out the back. And they are in disarray, the Swans' defence at the moment, Richo. They're not able to find their man. And this is brilliant to see big Jared Roughhead back.
Well, their first 3 goals have just been from play. This is their first set shot where they'll go back and have a shot at goal through Jared Roughhead. And this really makes Sydney hurt.
Welcome back, Ruffy. He kicks his first. It's 4 in a row now to the Hawks. And they've blown this margin out to 22 points. And they get around Ruff. One of the great blokes in AFL football. Brilliant to see that he had the health scare and all clear with the melanoma.
Not a lot of love there for Ruffy. I would have liked to have seen a few more boys get to him.
Oh, they're just so used to kicking goals.
Yes, they are.
Brian, they kick over 100 points nearly every time they play, and what a luxury that you can bring back a guy like Jared Roughhead and just throw him up the ground into the middle, let him find his way up there. He hasn't got the pressure of coming in and having to be the key forward, the P down there, and he's got involved. He's had a few touches up the ground, set up a goal for McAvoy, and now he kicks the goal himself.
17 goals to 6 last week against Freo, and here they go, 4 straight. They just continue on their merry way. Like a continuation of great form. Mitchell, who's just such a star player. Off here to Burgoyne. Talk about stars, little one over the top. So just trying to inch the ball forward. Suckling had no right foot there. Tried to inch it forward on the left. Caught the handball. Parker pleads his case, but it's a Schoenmakers ball. Had plenty of it so far, Schoenmakers. Goes deep inside 50. Piopolo decided to stay down. Rioli, a little strike, given all the soccer teams in town at the moment. He's obviously been watching the news. And Sydney to put it back inside.
Yeah, a lot of the players in Melbourne, they couldn't wait to get down and watch Real Madrid train at the MCG the other day, all the AFL players. It's good atmosphere in town with the superstars there.
This is where the Hawks are brilliant. Once they get you deep in their forward line, which they're so good at maintaining the pressure. They've got Piopolo and Rioli are still the best forward tacklers. And then they just put so much pressure on that sides can't get their natural game going.
It's a beautifully balanced forward line. They can all mark the footy. They've got great pressure at ground level. They've got great crumbing players. And they rotate so well. They come in and out. They keep you guessing all the time. You never get the same combination down there at any centre bounce. And it's the benchmark. Other teams really strive to have a combination like that in the forward line.
And they don't mind this at all. A bit of repeat time down there, just build pressure. And look at Rioli. Found his way through and then lost his footy. McAvoy appears to be moving as well as I've ever seen him. Burgoyne got past Buddy. Now he lines up from outside 50. Didn't quite connect the way he would have liked to the forward pocket off the hands of Shields and a boundary throw in.
A bit of a change made here. Tom Mitchell now just with Sam Mitchell. A little bit worried about that. Tom Mitchell hunts the footy, gets in and at it. but Sam Mitchell's so clever, he might just allow Tom Mitchell to get sucked to it, could find a bit of the ball on him if he's not careful.
Well, just that stoppage there, Lingy, was a classic example. As soon as the ball went up, Mitchell went to the footy. Mitchell went to the footy. And away they separated. Here's Burgoyne. Spanger now. Suckling.
No.
High ball. Inside 50. Getting back there was big boy McAvoy. Opportunity at ground level now for Cyril. Showen Makers. Round the corner here. Gunston dribbles it through. 5 in a row here. He's got a couple.
So nothing fancy about this. If you haven't got much else on, get it in there to your bigs, get a contest, and then get after it at ground level. Rioli always does that. Quick hands. Gunston, who started on the wing, has now kicked 2 goals. And that's the luxury of this team. They had 2 of their best goal kickers, Roughead and Gunston, who both started up in the middle of the ground. Not many teams can do that. Both of those guys kicked over 50 goals last year.
Bit shell-shocked at the moment, the Swans. They need a spark. Good competing hard in the air. Kennedy picked it up with the one hand cleverly and then hit it on the wrong side of the ball almost, and got a good bounce there. Now Goods, clever little toe poke, but maybe just a bit too smart in the end. It's been turned over again. They having all sorts of troubles in their forward line at the moment, the Swans.
We mentioned Tom Mitchell. Lingy was all over that with Sam Mitchell. He did do the job against Port Adelaide on Travis Boak up here a few weeks ago. So Johnny Longmire has given him a couple of jobs this year just to develop that defensive part of his game, Tom Mitchell.
Risky kick here, but a beauty from Birchall to Lewis. The long striding Isaac Smith whizzing through the middle. Went to the little man Puopolo. He too keeps his feet. The rest waddle around. Now Showen Makers with an absolute sizzler. And Gunston a chance to kick his 3rd of the quarter.
Oh, this is some sort of display they're putting on now. Hawthorn team, their ball use is absolutely outstanding. They come through the middle of the ground.
Come back on that line. There it is.
Gee, since
it's just impossible to stop.
Since that first couple of minutes, they have really got going here, the Hawks.
And that's the thing, Sydney didn't take their chances. They would double Hawthorn in possessions and inside 50s early, but they couldn't hit the scoreboard, and then Hawthorn get their turn and then just blow you away.
So here is Gunston, and he gets that. So he's kicked 3 in the quarter here, Jack Gunston.
Well, I didn't see this coming, Das. I mean, I probably should have. I watched them do this to Fremantle last week down in Launceston on a Sunday, but I thought it was going to be a lot closer than this up here at Sydney. This is just a team that in the last 2 weeks has sent out a big warning to the rest of the competition how good they are again.
Got a fairly stunned Sydney crowd at the moment. They're red and white fans here who just can't believe what they're seeing. There's some flashbacks to the grand final. That was a 63-point smashing on the grand final day last year, and pretty handy, is it, when you just roll Jared Roughead back into your team after a few weeks out.
Well, last week obviously they didn't have Ruffy. Jack Gunston didn't hit the scoreboard last week, but this week he's got 3. Gunston. Roughead's lining up for his 2nd. It's just, you can't stop teams with this much versatility in their forward 50.
Just leant back slightly on that one, Ruff, and dragged it across the face, but he would have been nervous tonight coming back from that surgery. You can see the tape on his lip and just wanting to get involved. It's been a good start for him. He's played a bit in the midfield. He's kicked a goal, so he's away again, Ruff.
Yeah, 1 behind between Rioli and Gunston last week, Richo, down in Launceston, and already 3 goals.
Yeah, I know. It's just
amazing.
Yet they have their turn. Whose turn is it tonight?
Yep, and opposition have got to cope with that. Buddy around the corner, nice little poker. Found Goods.
It's Buddy's first possession.
Inside to Hannery, middle of the ground. Good attacking position, can go left or right. Back to Goods. Goods, little ball. Cunningham here. Takes the easiest of marks. Goods involved here. Couple of times on to Jed, a long way. Just goes really deep. Big boy McAvoy. Marks uncontested in the square. And Johnny Longmire rather annoyed at the use of footy there from Jeddah.
And BT, the thing that would annoy him was the way they shifted the ball across the ground without getting any real penetration going at the goal. So it just allowed Hawthorn's defensive unit just to slide across, just set up with their spare, McAvoy back to help. So it just gave Hawthorn time to get it exactly how they wanted. If they're going to get through this Hawthorn defensive setup, they need to go straight at it a little bit more. Break a line or two, take a risk and get it through.
Only got a touch Luke Hodgin at the moment.
Yeah.
Marking everything. He's an amazing player for metres gained as well. Everything he does is positive. Always moves the ball forward into a better position. And
had a lazy 30+ and 3 goals last week for Hodge.
Spent a fair bit of it on Nat Fyfe too, the superstar that he's become. And took it right up to him. Here's Bruce, picked it up off his toes cleanly. They work quickly through hands. Well done, Brandon Jack. They need a spark. No free kick doing. Swans fans aren't happy. Suckling got it forward. Now Shields, one of the unsung heroes. And there's a little bit of tackling pressure. And Reece Shaw rewarded.
Sam Reid has gone loose behind the footy now. Don't want to concede another goal before quarter time. The Swans, Reid has gone back there just to try and stem this flow of goals from Hawthorn.
2 minutes left in the quarter. Cunningham into his head, did well. Little ball inside the goods. So minute 48 remaining here. Yet to kick a goal. Had a couple of opportunities early. Kieran Jack. Here's Buddy at half-back. Don't argue on Puopolo. Rampy hasn't been able to run at all in this game. Interestingly enough, Lingy, they've put some work into Rampy.
They have, yes. He hasn't provided that run, has he? But I suppose he's just under the pump. Hawthorn are playing so well, the ball comes in that quickly. You get almost too scared to try and run off, especially with turnovers like that. Potential is that it comes back a million miles an hour.
And then they go sideways again there, Lingy, as you pointed out, without gaining any depth with the footy here.
And this is a good example of just the structure of Hawthorn. They're all setting up across half-back, and they'll just be patient with their ball use, and eventually they'll get the chance to go forward through this. But they won't rush it. They won't force anything until it's on there. So well drilled, this Hawthorn team.
John Longmire's biggest ever quarter-time deficit, 34 points a couple of years ago against the Tigers at the MCG. It's 35 here, and it might be 6 more. They go inside 50 again. Managed to bring the ground. Smith and Lloyd and Rampy combined. Rampy pops this one up. Again, it's just un-Sydney-like. It hung in the air too long. Allows the Hawks to get involved with some more pressure. What can Grundy do? Spears one in the Goods direction. Good effort. He got rid of Spanger Goods. In comes Buddy. Once again, the cavalry arrives. There seems to be almost like there's 2 extra Hawks on the ground at the moment.
Yeah, well, they just dish it out the back, and there's Gibson. This has been an incredible quarter from a team that is really, really building their season. I would say they're still not in their best form as they build it. They're at the same position they were last year in terms of win-loss this round. And a few of these bigger players for Sydney need to lift. The likes of Buddy and McVeigh and Goods need to fire this team up, Jeddah, and get things going a little, because they have been given a good old shellacking here in the first quarter. Hawthorn 6-1-37, Sydney 2 behinds. Quarter time here at ANZ Stadium. Been all the Hawks. Have a look at the scoreboard there. Gunston has kicked 3 goals with his 8 touches, and they lead it by a whopping 35 points. And look at the goal kicker list there for Sydney. There aren't any. And John Longmire came down at quarter time, held up these photos. Couple of circles around a couple of Sydney players, not near a Hawthorn player, I would have thought, and absolutely gave them a good old grunting down there. Lingy, you're standing close by.
Yeah, BT, and still watching right now. Just breaking up from the group is John Longmire and the Sydney team. He didn't go over the top. It wasn't a massive spray, but you could see some pretty strong words to his players saying, we need to be better than that. A lot of the stats throughout that quarter were, funnily enough, quite even, but it was just Hawthorn's efficiency when they went inside forward 50. Only the 14 entries, but they kicked 6 goals. Too easy to play against. That's not the normal Sydney Swans that we're used to seeing. One quick update, though. We mentioned Tom Mitchell moving on to Sam Mitchell. Well, maybe that's because Craig Bird has done a little bit of an injury to his left lower calf, or maybe even Achilles. He was icing that up at quarter time and went to the bench there. So I'll keep an eye on that to see whether or not he can come back and play the rest of the game.
Nice work, Lee. All over it, as always, our man down there. So keep an eye on Craig Bird.
Das, this is a bit scary. That was the 12th straight quarter that Hawthorn have won. They haven't done that since the 1980s. So that it just shows you what sort of form they are in at the moment. This is a team going for their 3rd straight flag in a row, but seem to be getting better. So the rest of the comp be really happy about that.
Ball bounced by the umpire there, so that'll be recalled, and big boy McAvoy will get another opportunity against Tippett here. Throwing it up, big boy, have a look at him dominating the aerial situation there. The takeaway though, almost with Hanbury. Shields, fast hands. So good with the in-close handball, Hawthorn. Gee, I thought Sydney were really good at that, but Hawthorn are even a little more impressive, and Gunston's going to line up for goal number 4. And he will get a look at goal number 4.
And this is the man who started on the wing, Jack Gunston. He then drifted forward and kicked 3 goals in the first quarter. So Clarko's identified he's in form, and he's thrown him deep now, BT, sorry.
Even from this kick, which is a straight drop punt for my liking, he's turned to the middle and kicked it around the corner, and he's dragged that one too far. And you can curse him for that and say, why did he do that? But if he's comfortable with that, okay, I wouldn't have been.
I think he would normally have a drop punt from there.
Yeah, I'd agree.
He was too close to the middle that time, I thought, for Jacket. He's a great kicker goal, he would know, but it just seemed he was a bit close to the middle then.
Yeah, an unusual decision.
Yeah.
Gunston, who's a beautiful drop punt kick. I don't know whether that glove or hand had something to do with it. In comes Lake. Brilliant execution of the tackle, and everything that can go right is going right for the back-to-back premiers at the moment.
And so the uncertainty of Sydney there, just not wanting to go forward with the ball when Jack was out, didn't want to kick it, which invited the tackle. They're just a bit spooked with their ball movement. Hawthorn's pressure and tackling is just so good at the moment.
Yeah, and once again, Lee, your point is on display there. Goods looked up, and it wasn't as though he had a heap of options. He had to scan and wait and kick it to a real contested situation. This is Toby Nankervis, only his 2nd game. Turned over, Hanbury getting involved. Now that's pretty clever on the ground from Suckling to get boot the ball. Grundy couldn't quite complete it. Mitchell slapped it forward, and now the overlap run provided by Shield to Hodge, who took a bounce, and then handball was poor. But what about the pickup from Liam Shields? It was brilliant. Kick inside 50 again. Bruce is clever. He was pretty happy in the end to have another opportunity deep inside the forward pocket.
Yeah, it was a great pickup from Liam Shields. How good of a season is he having? That's probably why the Hawks are looking like they're going to improve again as this season heads to a conclusion. They're playing their best footy, and I think Shields is having his best season.
Yeah, he's played 11 games. Well, this would be his 12th game of the year so far. There's, by the way, 5 Hawks that have played all 14 games playing here tonight. Suckling one of those. Burgoyne, Gunston, Brewston, Stratton. Here's Reid over the line, so we'll do it all again. Let's get down to Lingy.
Well, BT, I mentioned quarter time, the icing up Craig Bird at quarter time. Well, he's now been subbed out of the game, so it's obviously no good at all. Zach Jones will come in for the Swans, but that is a big blow. He would have come in for this game. Really, they would have earmarked him for Sam Mitchell. Hasn't been able to do the job as he's subbed out of the game.
It did look like an Achilles. It was right down low, that ice bag.
Well, it's all bad news for Sydney here at the moment. Brandon Jack working through there. Cunningham gives them some run-off half-back. McVeigh looking for another runner inside. Found it in the very reliable Parker. An inching ball to Buddy. This is his first look.
Yeah, there was nothing Gibbo could do then. It was Franklin and Gibson, one out inside 50, and the defender really is helpless in that. As you have a look here, he's lost touch. Great position for a forward to be in. No way known Gibson was ever going to get back onto Franklin then. He could have gone anywhere then, Buddy.
Well, this for Buddy. 699th goal on offer here, and joined an elite group once he kicks the 700, if he hasn't already, and he's nailed it. So Buddy, no, it's touched off the boot. It's touched off the boot. Field umpire was standing right next to it, Matt Stevick, and he nailed it.
Tell you what was very interesting there, and sides have done it in the past, but they had Roughhead, they had Mitchell all lining up on that arc, and they were very close, right in the face of Buddy.
And almost telling the umpire, hey, he can't run around on this boomerang angle too much.
And call play on if he does, and they were right in the face, and I'm not sure who got the fingernail on it. Obviously, the man on the mark. Let's have a look at this. So here they are lined up. Look at Mitchell, look at Roughhead right there. and then he just got too close to Lake. Was it on the mark?
Gee, I haven't got a measuring tape, but that looked closer than 5 metres.
Yeah, that was 2.5 metres, Lingy. You're right.
Right in his personal space, weren't they?
I'm going to go down there during the week and just roll the tape out in front of these umpires, put a couple of hats out, and actually show them how far 5 metres is.
And look at Buddy's reaction here, Brian. After it was touched, you could see Franklin didn't go long enough there in the replay, but Franklin did look at the umpire as if to say, hey, they can't be that close to me there on my left.
And what they're doing is they're cramping him psychologically, and it sort of gets to your head. And I'm sure that's what Mitchell and that were doing off to the side, Das. It's more a psychological game than anything.
Yeah, they know him well. They know how he operates, and they got a good result in the end because it was going straight through the middle post high. So the Swans need to react. They need a response. At least got the footy inside their forward 50 at the moment, but still yet to kick a goal in this match. You can't believe it. But he can't believe it. So another ball up. This is Litherland, as we mentioned, a late inclusion for Bradley Hill. Hack forward. Swans have got some numbers around it. Kieran Jack squeezed the handball out to Reid and then worked a little 1-2. As he got a target inside 50. Shellmakers did really well, busted it out of the arms of Mitchell. Oh, good tackle from Jack. He's starting to impose himself. A little face massage.
Yes.
He was all over it.
That's the rugby league background coming out then.
He's just trying to set the tone here, Jack, and an accidental knee to the head as well to join the little massage, as Das mentioned here. Out they come again. Despite all of that, though, Hawthorn. Birchall was involved in the middle of that, and it goes to the boundary.
His dad would have been happy with that tackle,
yes,
BT.
He would have. Now, a deliberate here, the umpire is saying, so it'll go Sydney's way. Reece Shaw will be the recipient.
You've got to love that Kieran Jack, and we're not overly trying to glamorise the violent aspect of it, but he's a leader saying, hey, we need to make a stand here. We have to do something aggressive, and good on him for taking the initiative.
It's the exact sort of thing that Luke Hodge would take the responsibility to do if his team were down.
100%.
Yep. So another free going the way of Goods here. So a stop-starty old second quarter here. He played 7 minutes in it already.
Got nothing to go to, and he's just got to kick it straight down the line.
Hodge just an easy thump to the boundary line there. And
they look super set up and switched on at the moment, Hawthorn. Everything they do.
Reasonable crowd in here tonight, in the 30s, I would suspect, at ANZ Stadium. Tippett knocked down here to Mitchell of Sydney. Kick inside 50. McVeigh couldn't quite get there. Burgoyne slung on the tackle. Still the awareness to poke it out the back door, but it puts Spanger under pressure. And there's a minor score. By the way, just on this stadium tonight, there is a small possibility, Richo, that this could be the last game ever at ANZ Stadium. If, you know, the NRL finals work out that Sydney get to play at the SCG and not here, and they come to that agreement not to play games here next year, it could...
Is this the last year? Definitely the last year?
No, there's another year of the contract to go, but there are negotiations underway behind closed doors at the moment, and it could mean, as we see Spanger get one here, it could mean that that goes out the door, Richo.
Yeah, there's been articles the last few days suggesting that perhaps they'll forego that last year ANZ, and the Swans will play all their games at the SCG from next year onwards.
It's a remote chance, Das, but...
Yeah.
Okay, you heard it first here as Shellmakers releases Isaac Smith. He glides across the turf. This man, look at him go. The long strides all the way to 40 metres. He tumbles one through and he's kicked another. They've got the first 7. And Longmire cannot believe it. 40-point lead.
Well, this is how Hawthorn are opening them up. See the numbers that they've got across the back. They set up so well, but what they're doing, as soon as they get through, players like Isaac Smith, they're just taking off. They're charging forward as hard as they can, and they are just opening Sydney up completely tonight.
Not the fastest 50 ever run here at the Olympic Stadium, but nevertheless, it was pretty slick from the long-striding Isaac Smith, who, by the way, playing game 100 tonight, 80 wins and 19 losses. Last week, Paul Puopolo played his 100th for 80 wins and 20 losses, and we know they're both extremely good footballers, but you can be fortunate to be in the right spot at the right time, Das. I mean, the late Robbie Flower played 272 games for just 88 wins.
Well, life's about timing, isn't it?
These guys are just winning week after week.
Bobby Skilton only played in one final series too, BT.
Yeah.
It's last year.
Here's Bruce with a strange little handball there. And we'll throw it in again. So a whopping 40-point lead, yet to kick a goal. We've played 10.5 minutes second quarter. Sydney still have not got one.
So again, it's the Hawks who are in control and in attack. Roughhead's return has been really strong. Trying to work through again, Isaac Smith. He might kick back to back here, and the left foot on that occasion didn't quite get it the way he wanted to, but
it's like they've looked at this 2-week block against Freo and Sydney, and they've come out with a real intent to make a huge statement, this Hawthorn team. I know they went down to Tassie to really steel themselves to make a statement against Freo. They've done that, and they're doing it here tonight. In the last 5.5 quarters they've played, they've kicked 24 goals and only conceded 6, the Hawks, against their main two candidates for a grand final. So that's just unbelievable.
Inspiring stuff, isn't it, from this great team. It's Franklin not going his way at all tonight. He's kicked it straight into Mitchell. Brilliant timing on the smother. Nankervis wrapped up immediately, and
he was going to take the standing 8 count there.
Easy, guys.
This is remarkable stuff at the moment. Elementary mistakes here. Even the great Buddy Franklin couldn't get it right with help from Sam Mitchell. Kennedy couldn't get the kick away for the Puopolo tackle, and it just is not working for them at the moment here. They've got to find a way. They've got to find something, Sydney, or this will be embarrassing.
If you looked at the stat sheet, Lingy talked about it at quarter time, nothing really stands out except for the goals scored. They're just so much more efficient.
Inside 50s, 19-16, nothing in it there. As you mentioned, they missed some opportunities early, which can affect the psychological game of football. Here's Spanger at the bottom of the pack. They like him in this Hawthorn lineup. What is it, Lingy, that Spanger brings to the team that they like so much?
Well, he competes really well, and what he plays as that lockdown backman. His job isn't to come off and help out and read the play and get a heap of the footy. His job is to do his job, beat a really dangerous opponent, let Gibson do that, let the others do that, Brian Lake, come and help out. So he provides that almost that key pivot point against the opposition's best forward, shut him down, let Gibson and the others do the work that they do. Birchall the same, he comes off and helps out.
It's one thing the great sides do well. Everyone plays their role, and you know that Spanger is far from the most talented player, but Lingy said he just plays his role as Lingy did in the great Geelong sides as well. On that occasion, Bruce couldn't get through the Grundy tackle. Get a good look at this now. They really make life hard once they have you deep in their forward line. Look at them force the handball, and now the forward pressure comes on. Where's Cyril? Puopolo normally gets involved as well, and again, they get it to centre wing, but they are stifled in their ball movement from this incredible pressure that the Hawks are providing.
Das, great call. What they want you to do is handball there. They don't want you being able to kick and hit that outlet kick and relieve the pressure a bit. Hawthorn wants you to handball from down back, and then they close so quickly on the receiver of that handball that he's under pressure, he's forced to handball again, and eventually they back themselves to turn it over. It's exactly what they do once they've got you trapped.
This is as good defensively from Hawthorn tonight as we've seen Port in the attacking mode in the middle of that red-hot patch last year when they were just swarming. Well, the Hawthorn defence, or Hawthorn team, I shouldn't say defence, the Hawthorn team is just swarming the moment Sydney look like they're going to get hold of the footy and run it out. Just the frontal pressure that is talked about in footy is right on at the moment. Rampy, high footy, under pressure. Litherland, who's the sub for Brad Hill, who was a late withdrawal in this game, comes in, plays his role. Cyril looking to get a bit of a jump over the top. Took it from the front. He'll be paid the mark here. So Cyril's got the footy and an opportunity to goal.
Yeah, how does Cyril get the opportunity to do what he did here? Look, he's basically uncontested there. Hodge has got his man there locked down, and Cyril's just able to float across the front. That wasn't a fast play. He shouldn't have had that sort of space. This is a dangerous small forward as there is in the competition, he's able to float across the front and take a mark.
Now, if Cyril takes one more step to the right, the umpire should just call play on. And here comes Rioli, measures it nicely, but just misses it by half a metre.
BT, you just mentioned Alex Litherland coming in as the late replacement. Just to update you from the Hawthorn guys here down on the bench, I said Brad Hill just had a corked calf and they didn't want to risk that it turned into anything more than that and maybe end up being a tear, so they didn't want to take a risk with him. That's why he was the late withdrawal tonight.
Thanks for that, Lingy. Saw Buddy Franklin competing for the ball, just the 5 possessions, no goals. Very quiet in their round 8 game. It was Chip Frawley who did a really good job on him in that match 6 weeks ago, and it's his old side. He'd be desperate to try and get involved, Buddy, and have an impact. McVeigh, he was under some pressure as well, and boundary throw-in again right in front of Lingy down there.
Good view. Good crowd in tonight here at ANZ. Had a lot of rain, an inch of rain up till noon yesterday they had, but none today. Here's Buddy Franklin coming from 3 deep. Spanger, beautiful little pick-up by Boot it was. Gibson, fast hands. Just fell short to Litherland, still good enough to go and get it though. Gave it to Kennedy. Now an opportunity here. Round the corner, high footy. Parker's got to go. Over the top. I think it was Schoenmakers with the spoil. Rioli was on the Jack. Here's a little bit of pressure coming now for the Hawks. Parker, fast hands. Brandon Jack, good. Didn't know what to do. Just saw Burgoyne coming at him. Just saw him coming. Didn't have time to react. Puopolo. Go again. Opportunity for Jones, the sub. Short ball. Franklin this time. And let's just see here, although he won't need the leverage in terms of the curved run-up, but have a look at the Hawthorn players here already forming the line.
Did you just see that little bit of genius from Sean Burgoyne before? Basketball style, strip the footy, which was just amazing.
So Franklin comes in, kicks the first goal for Sydney. So Franklin there, kicking the goal. Wasn't his best drop, but he nails the goal first for Sydney, coming at the 17-minute mark of the second quarter.
Yeah, scoreless in the round 8 game on James Frawley. Here they come though, through Hanbury. Maybe this will ignite something. He might get a second one here. It's a free kick Franklin's way, and he's lining up for goal number 700, the champ.
What a great effort. So Gibbo has held his jumper, you could hear the umpire saying. So quick centre break.
His 218th game of AFL football. Buddy Franklin has just been a phenomenon, this man. Still got many more chapters to write in this great career, but for goal number 700, Buddy Franklin for 2 in a row. He's hit it pretty nicely. 700 AFL goals for Buddy Franklin. And this may be exactly what the game needs. 2 in a row to Buddy, 700 career goals, and you would think, BT, 1,000 is just a fait accompli from here.
Well, the 21st player to reach this milestone of 700 goals, and I reckon it almost guarantees him a berth in Australian Football Hall of Fame, and only Sav Rocker and Barry Hall have kicked 700 and not been included in the Hall of Fame, so we know Buddy's certainly heading that way, but he's in elite company. The 21st player, Richo, and you are one of the 21 players.
Oh, it's a great effort. Buddy's got a lot of football left. He's got that long-term contract up here in Sydney, and if anyone is going to get to 1,000 goals again, he is the man. After he gets there, I think it's going to be a very hard mark to reach. The way football's played now, we don't want to rely on one person to kick so many goals. He could be the last man to kick 1,000 goals. It's going to be very hard to achieve in the future, I would think.
Great achievement. Well done to him as Sydney get a little lift out of consecutive Buddy Franklin goals to make it a triple. Here he goes. Goal 701. Sydney back in business.
Oh, he's up and about now.
That's 3 goals in the last 5 kicks of this match. All to Buddy Franklin, 3 in 3 minutes, and he is right up and about, going back on.
He might get to 1,000 a lot quicker than what we think at the moment.
Amazing scenes. Can they respond to his teammates? They're back in the centre, and all of a sudden they've got a bit of spark in their step. There's a little bit more urgency about Sydney, and it's all been ignited by that man on screen there.
Do you reckon he'd be loving telling his old mate Gibbo, I just kicked 3 on you in 5 kicks, buddy?
Gibbo be just a touch worried.
Oh, he'd be flat.
A fair bit of lip going on out there at the moment. He's been one of the greats, the champ, Buddy Franklin. Always a pleasure to watch him, and look at him at the moment. He's talking it up big time.
There'll be a few. Sorry, guys, they've dropped a number back because they are worried about that right now. Stratton in the hole. They don't want Buddy kicking another one before half-time.
There'll be a few muscles on Gibbo's body just starting to twitch a little bit, I reckon, at the moment.
Have a look at Buddy, just directing traffic there. Now come this way, go that way.
Just get out of me way.
Yeah, just tail up. Just kick it in this direction. Get me in a one-on-one. I'm a good thing. And they are as well, Sydney, and they realise that.
BT, I like this. Sydney have chosen. They do not want Hawthorn to play that spare. Josh Kennedy's gone and rounded him up. Allow Buddy Franklin, Kurt Tippett to be able to work in even numbers, not have to compete against the outnumber. I like that as a tactic. Let the champs go to work.
Big boy McAvoy in amongst it all. So a bit of a stalemate just in this last minute or so. Rioli working the ball forward. Bruce went without it. Fast hands. Here go Hawthorn again forward, but defensively Smith gets hold of them, looking to get it to the fat side of the ground. No one there, so I'm not sure the value. Although Goods makes really good ground now to get out wide, and he'll accept the mark at half-back.
He's been lively, Goods. Just hasn't quite used the footy the way that we would expect from the extreme high quality that is Adam Goods. And now the Hawks get their defensive structure in place. So Hanbury's going to take on a risky kick, and it's got a lot of risk about it. Well done, Grundy. Amongst 3 Hawks, they're going to transfer this one out the other side of the ground. Reece Shaw has to go even further out wide.
So a slow build up here now. Hawthorn have got plenty of numbers back.
Rampy takes his time, as Richo said. A lot of numbers back. Tippett went up and down with no real look at the ball at all. And he reads the footy in flight, Brian Lake, as well as anyone that we've seen play in recent times.
I think the only other key defender that was able to do it as well was a Matty Scarlett. They don't just back themselves in to defend. When the ball's coming, they want to actually win the ball. I'm not just looking to punch it away. I'm going to win it back from a team, and Lake does it as well as anyone. Scarlett was the other one.
Out the back door to Suckling, he just tries to blast it as far forward as he can get the footy and over the line out of bounds. I reckon just down the other end, Gibbo might have been saying to big Buddy Franklin, or Buddy Franklin might have been saying to Gibbo, mate, I've got 700, this kick 703 goals between us, and I've got 701 of them, Richo. So he might be just reminding him of that. There's an opportunity for Roughhead over the top, Bruce down the back door. Hawthorn circling here from just beyond 50, looking menacing. High footy, Roughhead there. Cunningham came in, third man out. Rioli tried out the back to the favoured left side of Hodge. Swings it back and misses just. So 25-point Hawthorn lead with 6.5 remaining in the half.
They got back into it, the Swans, in this quarter, because they just won the contested possessions, the simple stuff. They got some first use out of the middle. They're plus 12 contested this quarter.
It's a nice grab from Sam Reid. He timed it beautifully. Now a little bit of open space for Parker. Closed down. He got it to Tippett, and he ran almost into the umpire. Out to Jetta. Can Jetta get moving? Well done to Shaw. Loves to take the game on. Good build-up from Sydney. The last kick was just a little too strong for Cunningham down there. Here come the Hawks defence. They want hold of the ball. Lake's involved.
They just couldn't quite get their forward structure in place then, the Sydney Swans. When they got that fast break from here, they had a fast play. The ump got in the way a little bit. It goes out here to Reece Shaw, but there was nothing in front of him really to go to structure-wise, and just didn't quite finish off that play.
They'll be excited by the fact that they can get through this defence when they take some risks and can get it going quickly from one end of the ground to the other as well, the Swans. And they'll need to if they are to get right back into it. Brandon Jack, he ran into his teammate Kennedy, then a real up and under job. Big pack form. Hanbury found some space in heavy traffic. Hanbury and just sprayed it slightly to the left, and minor score margin back to 24 points.
Done well here, Hawthorn, to peg it back from the 40-odd. And another one just before half-time would be perfect for them. Not going to get it all back in one hit here, naturally. Stratton, a little knock-on. Brandon Jack, that was a throw initially, threw it to himself. Parker, a bit of a kung fu style David Carradine sort of thing. And a short little ball found McVeigh.
Well, that's why they're such a good team, Sydney, because 7 goals to nothing. A lot of teams would struggle to be able to come back and kick the next 4 goals, but they've kept at it. What have we seen? A little kung fu kick there.
Just got him in the guts, right in the breadbasket.
Might have actually
it's
slipped
lower.
a bit lower too, which is even worse.
So Birch just really feeling the effects of things. Boy, there's McVeigh. And the distance was always going to worry him. 4 deep was Buddy Franklin there. Schoenmaker's under pressure. Now Gibson's got to go, and he couldn't wait to get it over the line. Sydney Lockett in their forward end. Birchall okay down there, Lingy?
He's up and about now, PT, but certainly a bit uncomfortable is how I would say. That would have hurt.
Swans an opportunity again. And a fair bit of time in forward half. Burgoyne able to get it to Hodge, who's got always great composure in any sort of traffic. They work it to the centre wing. Teddy Richards has had his troubles tonight, dispossessed again. Hale slipped over. Richards will get another look at it. Was he legged there? Free kick, I think, will be rewarded Sydney's way. Ted Richards has been reported tonight. If you're just joining us for a high hit on Sam Mitchell. Might have a bit of concern, I think, too, with that one. Out to McVeigh. Didn't strike his last ball well. Got around big boy McAvoy like he wasn't even there. Another one to the Swans. It's 4 in a row. And we're back to a 3-goal ball game.
Never seen foot candy sold like this. Big boy McAvoy swallowed every bit of it. And a goal to get them back within 18 points.
He sort of pulled out of that celebration halfway there, Jared.
And of the 11 goals kicked, 10 to the right of screen. Lake under real pressure here at the moment. Roughhead and McVeigh. Roughhead was trying to shepherd. McVeigh went at the footy. High ball. Goods has got the sit here. Comes in from the side. Buddy was flat-footed. Mitchell at Sam. Caught in a really good tackle. Still had great awareness to get rid of it by hand legally.
It's a good tackle this from Adam Goods, wasn't it? Really well executed.
Yeah, went up for the mark. Good second effort from Goodsy.
And Curvis and McAvoy. Swans applying a heap of pressure at the moment. Almost a half a throw from Ruff. Got away with one. Lewis. Grundy dropped one he probably should have taken. Hale wraps him up immediately. And that one will... Well, he's been pinged hole in the footy. Seemed like an enormous amount of prior opportunity, but... Roughhead just unloads this one, long high one. Pioplo's going to try the hanger here. Didn't really get off the ground. Richards has just looked a bit out of sorts coming back into the Swans lineup tonight. This time he got it to Hanbury. Slick little handball was okay to Nick Smith. Tumbles one into the corridor. Hawks appear to be in the best situation here. Look at Mitchell through traffic. Clever little handball. Suckling couldn't get it. The Swans are starting to win a few of these 50-50 balls now, and Kennedy just hacks it forward, gains about 35 metres.
Oh, gee, I don't know about that. I don't know if that was deliberate, but anyway, he's paid it, the umpire.
So Lake from fullback. Oh, gee, it hit Rampy right in the head there. Just see here, Hanbury, McVeigh trying to go in. Just a wider shot here. You can see the runner, Nick Davis, in the centre circle here. Now, he's been standing out there for 3 minutes. He's spoken to Buddy Franklin very, very briefly, and what he's been doing is organising and coaching the team from on the ground rather than delivering the message and getting off. Now, the AFL came out during the week through Patrick Keane and said that this wasn't going on in the game. Well, Patrick, get your eyes on this game live tonight and have a good look here tonight, because I'm telling you now, it is happening.
Is there any sort of time limit, Brian, on how long they can be out there?
No, there's not, but deliver your message and get off.
Yep, I agree, Bristol. He's right onto it, BT. Good tackle again from Kennedy, wrapped up Mitchell. The Swans have got a real appetite for it at the moment. There's Nick Davis, the runner. He's still out there. Free kick will go the way of the Hawks here. Piopolo, the recipient. So they get a bit of a breather here. The Hawks, as that one came back, and Nick Smith fair on the back of the melon. And they won't mind just a bit of possession. Experienced Hawks side, just to try and take a bit of the sting out of it. They've had The last 4 goals of the game kicked against them. Roughhead drives it long. Big strong fist out the back was Rampy. Slick little handball from Lewis to Bruce. Bruce athletically weaved his way through. Speaking of athleticism, Burgoyne's got a heap of it, and that was clever. He found his target within range, and Angus Litherland is going to go back and have a shot, I think.
Yeah, well done, Sean Burgoyne. He never just blazes away. He was tackled, but while he was being tackled, he still had the awareness to be scanning around the ground and find a target in his teammate Litherland.
Played 13 games last year, Litherland. He was a late inclusion tonight. Winds up, got it going right to the left, and that is a big response. And his teammates get around Angus Litherland. Litherland kicks his first goal in AFL football, and he loved it. His teammates loved it, and it was a timely one for the Hawks.
Yeah, well done to him. Don't the teammates love it when that happens? Hanbury off the boot. Big fella, Nankervis. So Hawthorn just a little surge here as we come into the last minute of this half. Mitchell didn't get far enough back from the man on the mark, and he took a big piece out of it. Stratton out to Mitchell. So clever, Sam Mitchell. Such a good decision maker. Probably one of the best in the competition, if not the best. Birchall, little ball, Rioli, great body. Really good body on Jack, and Cyril will get a look from about 35 out, perhaps even a bit closer.
Oh, this is annoying for the Swans. 2 goals in red time just to get the lead back out if Rioli can kick this one. That'd really disappoint the coach. They've done so much work to get back into it, and to allow 2 goals in basically the last minute of play, that's really frustrating for the Swans.
Goal number 199 on off here for Cyril Rioli in his 147 games. Steps to the plate, drills it through the middle, right on the siren. He says, get around me. I'm feeling good about this. 2 late goals here for Hawthorn has really opened it up again, and the Hawks lead by 30 points here at ANZ Stadium. So Hawthorn 9-5-59, Sydney 4-5-29. Great effort from them. And Sydney will leave the ground down there. Let's get down to Cameron Ling.
Well, Kiz, disappointing to concede those couple of late goals. You really fought your way back into it.
Yeah, it was. Me on steel there. I've got to do better than that. First quarter poor, second quarter able to get things back. I think our head around the ball lifted, so remember a chance, got to bring that again.
Appreciate your time, mate. You get in there. Well, it's a good game of footy. It was all Hawthorn early, but Sydney worked their way back into it. It's Hawthorn by 30 points. Great stuff there from the NAB Oz Kickers, having a ball out here at ANZ Stadium. It's Saturday night footy. The Hawks are up by 30 points, but Sydney did make a run at it in that second quarter. They played some quality footy. As soon as they got the ball in quickly to that man there, Buddy Franklin, they looked so dangerous. They have to be brave again with their ball use. They can't go back to that sideways slow ball movement, otherwise it plays into the Hawthorn hands. They need to keep taking the game on, keep being brave, keep generating those inside 50s and finding a way to score. But on the other side, they can't do what they did at the end of that second quarter and give up easy goals. 2 goals to Hawthorn have given them that 30-point buffer. So, guys, it's called the Premiership quarter for a reason. Sydney need to make sure they keep attacking the game, but they need to not give up those easy goals. Otherwise, Hawks will run away with an easy victory.
They certainly will. Lingy, one thing that Sydney did really well that quarter was just restrict Hawthorn's control of the ball with their feet. They love to control the game with kicks and marks, and they slice through you with their precise kicking. Swans didn't let them do that in the second quarter, and it was probably the main reason they got right back into the game. That and Buddy giving them a good target inside forward 50.
So an entertaining second half coming up here Swans had a real purple patch there, 4 goals in a row, and a couple of late ones of a pretty comfortable 30-point margin. Here goes Hanbury. First one inside 50 will be the Swans' way. Lake's been good tonight. Read the ball consistently well to Showmakers. Look at Bruce, front and centre beautifully to Rioli. He's dangerous with space. He's dangerous without space. From outside 50, he's lined it up. And the first of the second half, and Rioli's got 2.
It's a good transition here from Hawthorn, but gee, if Cyril Rioli gets a handball received, 60 out, and he can run straight at goals, you're going to pay nearly every time.
Couple to Cyril. Back-to-back goals, Sydney. Now, really in no man's land. Must respond now. Shaw.
Stay there.
Backwards to Jeddah. Jeddah hasn't been given the space he'd like tonight. Now Reid. So Sydney just looking to separate the Hawthorn defenders here and get some gaps between them for kicks like that to Smith. Smith can go short to Rampy in between a couple, but didn't want to take it on. Jeddah now sends the ball. Long time in the air, so Richards is going to be under pressure here from Schoenmakers. Reid did well to front and centre. Rampy, Grundy and Jeddah. So
they've had about 10 possessions and gone absolutely nowhere here, the Swans.
Back where it started. Started with this man, as you say, Richo, 10 possessions ago.
Yeah, they put themselves under pressure they didn't need when Nick Smith released the handball. He could have kicked it and allowed them just to keep in that slow play mode, but he released a handball and then it put pressure on the whole back line then. They're lucky they've got it back under control now.
Yeah, really able to just block up the ground superbly, the Hawks. So they are so well organised. They all understand their role really well. And
Das, the start of this third quarter is the total opposite to the way I expected Sydney to come out to play. First of all, an easy goal to Cyril Rioli, which we spoke about them having to stop. But then their ball use has just been very slow, very stagnant, going backwards. I know they want to control possession of it, but they still have to be prepared to be brave and try and break open that brilliant defensive setup of Hawthorn at the moment.
Parker and Hanbury combining, and now Goods to a dangerous spot. Once again, Lake in a good position, but he dropped one. It was a mistake. They could have made them pay through Harry Cunningham, and he missed. So disappointing result in the end.
So Sean Burgoyne in good hands coming back into play here. You can see Sydney 24 disposals to 3 this quarter. Sydney had all of the footy. Reid, Hanbury it was in fact, to Brandon Jack. Here's Kieran Jack onto Grundy. Just kicked that at full pelt straight into the scone of Isaac Smith. Now Bruce. Shaw, handball back in. Kieran Jack, poker to Brandon. Plays on immediately, point of the square. Open goal square, misses left badly.
Yeah, I reckon he had to kick that across his body more towards the fat side of the ground. He had Big Nan Curvis down there. At least it would have been a target and bring it to ground. At least they've got a stoppage here though now. The play,
good shot,
was held up in their forward line, BT.
Good shot there of modern footy, isn't it? That really explains it all, how close and tight it is, and players not playing in positions that doesn't matter anymore. And that's what all the talk has been about in the last 2 weeks about the look of the game. It's exactly that shot that people are talking about.
Well, what people have been talking about in this situation is that they have to have, Hawthorn would have to have some players back in their forward half of the ground to try and stretch it out a bit, relieve some congestion.
See how hard the Hawks are making it for the Swans to get any room inside forward 50 and score, and then they've been great at slingshotting and attacking from here. Richards has now pushed forward, it appears, and a lot of numbers around it. Look at this. There's a real snapshot of the way the game is played at the moment. Kennedy wrapped up by a couple of Hawks and another ball up.
So you look at the screen there now, they would want, some people saying, let's get Hawthorn forwards back in their forward line and make it that you have to have someone back there at a stoppage.
Jeddah's leg speed on display, and then almost ran too fast for his own good. And Adam Goods put it only in the direction of Sam Mitchell.
So Mitchell, deep in defence, boundary line will do him there. Gee, Hale got slung off the footy while not having it. Burgoyne saves it before the boundary line. He's able to go here. He'll get an escort down the ground from Puopolo. Goodsmade's really good ground and put pressure on Burgoyne, forcing him to cough it up. Sean Burgoyne not happy with himself there.
I think a pleasing thing from a Sydney point of view, watching Adam Goods tonight, hasn't been his cleanest game. He's made a few mistakes, but athletically, he seems to be moving.
Yeah, he's moving well.
Seen him for a long while. Buddy Franklin sets himself. Just went up with the one hand in the end.
That was a deliberate palm down there from Buddy.
So he kicked the 3 goals in a row, Buddy, including goal number 700 for his career in the second quarter. What an amazing career it's been. Two-time premiership player, a Coleman medalist, 100 goals in a season.
Disposal count 38-7 Sydney's way this quarter, but they haven't been able to hit the scoreboard.
How good was that pick up from Luke Bruce? Just full of skill, and then places it in Isaac's direction. He picked it up as well. Jack gave chase to Roughhead. They can do anything, this Hawthorn side. They are on fire.
Lingy, have a look at these pickups, that one by Bruce, and have a look at the one here from Smith, and tell us what you're seeing.
Oh, it's just unbelievable skill, isn't it? Look, that's at full stride, just the ability to control, and then the composure to give off to Ruffy, not have a flying shot to finish. This Hawthorn team, well, we've been speaking about it all night. They are just so good. There's a reason why they've won 2 in a row, and there's a reason why they're favourite to win a 3rd. They're just a brilliant football team.
Yep, completely together, and Puopolo took them on, got pinged there by Kennedy. They just do everything so united and do the little things so well. There's Schoenmakers, who's played really well tonight. What a great give from Litherland under enormous pressure. Mitchell soaks up the pressure from behind, and it was Kennedy that come in very, very quickly. He hurt himself, and Mitchell tough to Smith. Mitchell will take himself off the ground. In the meantime, the ball goes forward. Hale's got a free, high shoulder, and he'll get it inside. Ruffy is 1-on-2, so I don't think he'll go there.
Oh, look at this.
And look at it, Richo, Puopolo.
Gee, how does he have that much space, Paul Puopolo? There's been some sloppy defending at times. Here's this hit on Mitchell. Kennedy, he was spoiling the ball, got him high. That's just a free kick. Nothing more than a free kick there. There's going to be contact at times. He was trying to spoil the football.
It's the old Danny Frawley pretend to spoil from behind, isn't it, from the old days?
The ear massage.
Yep, the ear massage, David Dench style. Up goes Rioli, keeps it alive. I don't think it's crossed. Yes, it has. So it will be a minor score, and a 42-point Hawthorn lead now with Jack at centre-half back.
Which is their equal biggest lead of the game. The Hawks have really got it right back under control. Look at Puopolo's forward pressure. Rampy was good enough to stand up in the tackle. And the starting sub Jones worked it to Parker. Brilliant diving spoil there from Stratton. Landed in the arms of Reid. Have been forced wide a lot, Sydney. Now to get any ownership of the corridor. Goods, Gibson, good tackle from Buddy. Wrapped Lake up, and Lake's gone. Gave him a little one to go on with as well, Buddy. Been a bit of history between those two over the journey.
Brian.
Franklin will like his chances from here, I would have thought.
Lining up for number 4. From limited opportunities, I would say. Hasn't been involved in that many contests tonight, Franklin.
Brian won't like that.
He won't enjoy that, Brian. Fairly quiet start from Franklin, and then set the game alight. There they are on the mark. Brian was out of screen, and Buddy hit it pretty nicely, just faded late and through for a minor score. So still 3 goals of the match to Buddy.
Well, see, that was a really good kick. I know he only missed it by a metre to one side. A lot of people say, well, he missed the goal. And guess what? People miss. There's no one in the history of the game that's kicked 100%. That was a really good roost to the footy then, Buddy. Be happy with that kick as a key forward, even though he missed. Rioli trying the little low bullet to Bruce, and Bruce again keeps it running. Reid trying to hold him up. Well done to Bruce there. Handball out. Hanbury, fast hands. Jeddah through some traffic. This way, that away. Looks to the fat side. Nothing there, Richo.
They got trapped in here, but well done. Jeddah didn't panic. He's found an outlet. I reckon there's been a few people that have gone at 100% in their career.
What?
Goal kicking.
what, over their whole career?
Yeah, I reckon there would be.
Who?
I'm just going to
Richo.
wait for something on that.
This has got goalpost theory written all over it. There's no chance anyone in the history of the game at any level has kicked 100%.
I reckon there is. What if you played one game and kicked one goal?
Oh, okay. Well, let's put a rider on it. Say you've got to have played 50 games, Richo.
Oh, there's no riders. You said no one in the history, Brian.
Oh, you're all right. You're onto it. You really are developing your smarty pants.
I know the point you're making, though.
Brandon Jack. High ball, getting back
Good
there.
mark.
And Curvis.
It's the boy from Georgetown.
Onto the left footer, which I didn't know where Georgetown was in Tasmania. High footy. As a native Tasmanian, they didn't take too well to that. Off hands, little one, Parker, sneaks it underneath and got it in the nick of time. 35 points down, the Swans.
Just didn't get any purchase on that spoil, and it dropped to the feet, and Parker finished it.
I'll get you to keep an eye on Brian Lake, Lingy. He just looks a little bit sore behind play. He's been having a bit of work done with the physio, and you see there, he's just testing the body out at the moment.
You're right, Dars. From that last contest, or when Buddy Franklin took that mark before, he just pulled up a little bit sore from a bit proppy. And see his knee heavily strapped, but I will keep a close eye because he hasn't looked to come off the ground. Important he stays on the ground. He's so important for this Hawthorn team.
Now, BT, remember Nathan Carroll that played for Melbourne?
Nathan
Carroll,
Yep.
fullback.
Yep.
Played 71 games, Nathan Carroll. Went at 100% with his goal kicking.
Nonsense.
He did. 71 games, 1 goal, 0. 100% for his career.
1 goal, 0.
And you said over 50 games. So
Yeah,
there you
you've
go.
got to have kicked over 50 goals, Richo. This is just being silly. Jack out the back door to Lloyd. High footy. Here comes Adam Goods from behind. Almost got a Peter for Hodge in the nick of time out the back door. So let's see the transition here from Hawthorn in full flight. See if they get a clean go at it. Suckling tried to wind up on that side winding kick, and in the end got tackled on point of delivery. Advantage paid. They go inside. Brandon Jack marks. And checks where the mark is with the umpire.
Well, they've been dominant in the possession count this quarter. It's 67-29. This is an important shot at goal. Need to kick this goal and get some value for the amount of possession they're having, the Sydney Swans.
So Brandon Jack using his full allotted time. Get it back under 30 points here with a successful kick. He'll have to launch at 50. Coming back a little, bending, not enough. And a minor score there. So 34-point differential here now as Birchall looks to get it back into play.
He's got a lead from Rioli. It was a beautifully weighted ball, the fullback kick in. Just see so much rotation in the Hawthorn lineup. It's one of their real trademarks. Rioli had a forgettable moment there. There's a kick that missed the mark, and these two don't like each other a lot. Buddy and Brian.
Oh, he's a funny character, Brian.
He's an unusual character, Brian. Haven't seen anyone even close to like him. Spanger under pressure from Goods, just kicked it out on the full. So
they've got him trapped in here, haven't they?
A good little 3 or 4 minute period. They just need some scoreboard reward here. Lloyd's got it. Hawks have got everyone back now.
Good luck finding a target in here. It's super crowded.
So he does what was probably the only option in the end. Kick it long and to a dangerous spot. They're able to clean that up pretty easily through Litherland.
Saw Adam Goods there before. Game 364 tonight. Joins a great player in Brad Johnson, 9th place on the all-time games played. Next in line for him to beat is Bernie Quinlan. Super boot on 366 games.
A couple of the all-time greats there.
Yep. So I see Richo working feverishly on the stats machine there to try and come up with other players. Richo, got to have played 50 games and kicked 50 goals, mate, before you come into the 100% region, please. So don't be bringing up these obscure players. Next thing you'll tell me, Zeno Tatsaris kicked 1 goal back in 1982.
Kept Jason Dunstall goalless, Zeno.
Zeno Tatsaris.
He kept the chief goalless.
Gee, he must have been wearing the helmet. Here's Lewis. Little ball.
Wouldn't have been goalless very often, Jason Dunstall.
Birchall. Great shot of the stadium here. Burgoyne. So slow, careful movement here at the moment from the Hawks. Gibbo waiting for the perfect bounce before he struck. High ball, here comes Sirai at the ball. G marks well overhead, doesn't he?
He does.
Underestimated in that area. He can take a player back inside 50, and you could isolate with him. Look at the kick. Look at the sizzling kick to Schoenmakers.
They are the best kicks because he actually knew where to put the ball. He drew Schoenmakers into it. We'll have a look at the mark here.
Oh.
He's got great leap. He's got a good vertical leap, and he didn't waste any time. He identified that space there, and he drew Schoenmakers into the ball, and that's what the good kickers do.
That is so good from Rioli. Now Schoenmakers with a difficult angle to work with here. Looking to get it back out to a 38-point margin. Difficult for the left foot. He's done it, though. Magnificently constructed kick from Schoenmakers.
Brian Lake a bit sore at the moment on the boundary line. You see him just land a little bit awkwardly. Didn't look too bad on his left leg there, but he's already got the strapping there. Bit of pressure on his knee. He's been getting checked out by the doctors, getting quite a bit of attention. He is sore. He doesn't look comfortable at all. I don't know if he's going to stay off. He's going to try and come back on the ground, but not happy.
Played 11 games last year, Brian Lake. Ended up winning his second premiership back-to-back, and he's already played 11 this year. So they might manage him a little bit in this latter part of the season. We see him now taking a rest and getting some treatment. He'd have a theory, Brian, as to what's going on down there, I promise you.
I reckon he's trying to work the red vest off that.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he's decided he's had enough tonight. As Goods drives this one, got good distance on it. Hodge playing in defence, was able to clean it up. Thought he should have got a free kick. There he is. He's having a word to staff down there.
Very unusual operator, and might be just feeling a little bit of buddy. But anyway, we'll see if he comes back out. Little sore on the left side here. Jack through traffic, magnificently round the body, kicks the goal for Sydney. There he goes, back in business and right to go, I think, Brian. So that's good news. Now, Das, 32-point margin here at the moment, and you know, they're good sides, but this is not done with yet.
And you have got a good sense of these things, Bristol. Don't go anywhere. We saw them pile 4 on in a row, the Swans, and can they just get themselves a little closer here? Bruce under some heavy pressure, rough head, slick hands out to Shields. Shields is going to kick one. He's an underrated player, Liam Shields.
So there you see the replay of that last goal from Shields, and
it's like a quick hands drill at training. 1, 2, 3, release someone who's got a bit more time and space. Goal.
See the entries there, 5 entries for Hawthorn, 4 goals this quarter. So it's a pretty good effort. Here's Geordie Lewis out of the middle. Great efficiency, big boy McAvoy. Off to Birchall, goes long and deep. Roughhead setting himself, bodying for the position. Bruce off the toes, couldn't quite get it done. Grundy, Mungras it out wide to Tippett, who's had a very, very quiet night. What's he had on terms of stats tonight, Dars? How have you seen his game?
Just had the 8, and really disappointing night for me, Kurt Tippett. He's the one that I think they'll be really concerned about, because you know he's a high-profile, high-paid player, and you can't have days where your best and worst is so big a gap. They need more out of him. Big attack on the footy there from Richards. Rampy slid in. Under pressure, well done Mitchell, picked it up cleanly. Got it back to Jones, and under all sorts of duress. Pioplo sensing an opportunity here to kick another one. Every time they go inside 50, they kick a goal. Roughhead gets another one. 3 goals to Roughhead.
So just have a look at the treatment here. Ruffy got a bit of a push as he was kicking the footy, and that sent him into the drip tray area there.
And it ripped his jumper. That would have
back on the grate there. Looked like a metal grate on the ground.
That doesn't tickle.
But Rampy's done nothing wrong, because he did push him as he went to kick it there.
Play on.
So Roughhead with 3 goals. Hawthorn 44 points now, game high. Little one here out the side door from Zach Jones. Wide to McVeigh, Litherland, and just wanted boundary. Found it, but his umpires pinged him deliberate. And I've got no doubt that that was deliberate. He tried to disguise it, and that's the one the umpires need to get hold of. Well done. McVeigh now looking for the leader, Franklin, and Franklin beats Brian Lake to the footy, and Buddy says, go back on the mark. There it is there. Troy Pennell says, there, it's okay. Just coming back to mark the spot umpire.
I reckon Brian's just annoying Buddy a little bit, and he just wanted to make sure.
Well, I get the feeling a big celebration here. No one to stop him running around there. They just lost concentration momentarily. Perhaps he was too far out, and they let him get that little bit of leverage with the boomerang run-up, but he misses.
There you go. There's Ruffy's back. It's a nice red mark on there. That wouldn't have tickled. That's what he was a little bit annoyed about.
He's in the wars at the moment, isn't he? Poor old Ruff. He's a huge chunk of his lip removed surgically, and the brilliant news, as we said earlier, is that that is all okay.
A couple of centimetre square chunk taken out of his lip. So that's the reason it's so tight there. He explained that at half-time and on the pre-game show. It's just going to take a while for him to get that moving properly again, his lip. It's been stretched pretty tight.
He's been in sensational form tonight. His return game, 3 goals, Ruff. He's taken some centre bounces and a little piece taken out of his back as well. That's what he slid on. No wonder he was upset. Dangerous. Yeah. Wow, that shouldn't be there.
Well, they're bolts that are anchored into the concrete there that have not been capped. You can see a nut on one of them, and maybe 2 of them, but that is very, very dangerous.
No, that can't be. That's not acceptable.
I think they're there for the netting when they have the pre-game shots at goal, but someone's got to put some padding over that. Because
I don't reckon they are, Das. Okay. I reckon they're old bolts that have either rusted off. They certainly don't look new to me. Wouldn't mind getting a look at that 3/4 time. We'll try and get a camera down there and see if we can get a close-up of that, because that's not good enough. If they're exposed, whether they are for the netting or whether they're old, it doesn't really matter. There's Birchall. In the meantime, play goes on. Stratton now sets a bit of a task here for Litherland. Gathers possession, did it well, kept it rolling forward. Hodge kept him working. Gee, won't have much left in the tank. Takes him on, busted his way through. Didn't even think about the goal. Tried to dish off. I think I might have gone for home.
Fairly healthy contingent of Hawk supporters there at the end of the ground. You can see that you're right. They've travelled up here.
Why wouldn't you, Dus? Yeah. Up to Sydney for the weekend.
It'd be fun being a Hawk supporter, wouldn't it?
You know you're probably going to win most of the time when you travel with your team.
They give great value. And they've had some enormous success in recent years and appear well placed again. Swans clear it out. Half back. Spanger's settled back in nicely into this side. He just quietly goes about his business, the big Spang. His teammates love him. Tough night on the right there for John Longmire.
Keep the meter.
5-goal quarter here so far for the Hawks. With 3.5 minutes remaining. Here's Rioli. Needed someone to handball. No one there. Went and got it again. Beautiful gift Shields. Sorry, Richo. Now Mitchell goes long and deep. Puopolo fighting here. Fighting. Takes the mark.
That's good. But you know what set that up? Rioli's ability to get back to his feet and release that handball. It was like he didn't hit the ground. He got up that quickly.
Richo, Hawthorn's ability at ground level with their quick hands is just phenomenal. The best in the competition. Great body use by Paul Puopolo there to take that mark. But as you said, their sharpness, just their first give, someone's out, they just go bang. They're so clean, so good with their quick hands.
Puopolo taking his full allowance of time, and he nails the goal. So 49 points.
So the Hawks now have kicked 8 goals out of their last 10 entries. That is efficiency at its best. The Swans are in the contest around the clearances, contested, but it's just the ability to use the ball and finish that is just so much better from this Hawthorn team.
They've won the inside 50 count, Sydney, 39-33. It just
Second tackle against David Hale's high.
is extraordinary how potent this Hawthorn side are. Against one of the best defensive teams in the game, and they're powerless to stop them at the moment. Jack's tried hard. Stratton went up before the footy was really in his vicinity. Here's Brandon Jack, now Hanbury. Out to McVeigh. Finally a little bit of time and space for Sydney, and McVeigh, fairly difficult shot, wasn't able to execute.
We say the same things every time Hawthorn play, but once again tonight, 10 goal kickers out of 15. Hard to defend.
What's their average goal kickers in a game, Das?
9 individual goal kickers per game, the most of any side in the competition, BT. It's one of their great strengths.
So you can't zone off them. Every forward is dangerous, so that means the defender can't zone off, and that gives forwards one-out opportunities, and that's all you ask for as a forward, to be able to beat your man one out.
Shorty Luke's just going for the soccer there. He said, oh, damn it, I missed it. And now Mitchell, Sydney, to Lloyd. Jones trying to bust his way through. The man made a muscle. Piuopolo just clears a path and lets it sail and misses right.
Makes something out of nothing, Poppy, doesn't he?
He's very good playing in that position, permanent up forward, isn't he?
Just stole it off him.
Excellent work.
Talk about how have Hawthorn improved. Like a one-step barrel there from Jetta. It was a strange execution. He didn't get it right. The boot lands straight in the lap of Birchall. Hawks are just well and truly in control of this game. Is an understatement. But
stay out behind him.
Gibson now drives it deep. Mitchell down there, Rioli from nowhere. What a grab.
Geez, hands are good tonight.
He's a genius, this man. He does things that no one in the game can even attempt to do, and he makes it look so easy.
He's got springs, Cyril. He just springs out of nowhere. Look at this here.
He wasn't even in the picture at one stage, and look at that.
You've got to get touch on him, though. You can't let him have a jump at the footy. That's a couple of times tonight he hasn't had a finger laid on him when he's jumping for the ball.
He's a special player. And you talk about their improvement. He's only missed one game this year. There's his third goal. And you pay the full ticket price alone to see that man do what he does. He is just unique in this game, and I think that's part of the reason why they're a better side. They've got him fit, he's sound, he's out there week in, week out. You remember the controversy and the drama at whether he'd play in the grand final. He's going as well as he's ever gone at the moment.
Yeah, he's having a pretty good year, Cyril. Up to 22 goals now for the season. But he does so many little things that don't register on the stat sheet. Little tap-ons, little creative things that bring teammates into the play.
There's the barrel that was attempted by Jetta, didn't quite work out, so under a half a minute remaining here. Hawthorn, an opportunity to go forward. Big boy McAvoy put up the claw. Now he wants his only ground level ball as well. Use the hip and shoulder. Rampy. The shaft on Suckling. Cunningham out wide. And Goods here. Did well to keep it alive in the end. 6 seconds, so scores will remain as they are here at three-quarter time. And Hawthorn are doing a wonderful job. 16 goals, 7, 103. Three-quarter time. Sydney, 6-12, 48. Cyril, unreal. Hawthorn by 55 points, three-quarter time. Have a look at this. Jared Roughead slides into the concrete gutter here at ANZ Stadium, and where he went and hit the ground, he immediately complains about something ripping into his back. And have a look at the concrete dynabolts as we go down to Cameron Ling. And Lingy, you're down there. Tell us what you're seeing.
Yeah, I am, BT. I'm right here as it's just down here in front of me. Now, there are 4 bolts, as you said, just older, I think rustier type bolts. I've got the pen here just to show you probably how big they are, if you can see that at all.
Gee, they're dangerous, Lingy.
About that, yeah. So I reckon very dangerous, BT. You're absolutely right. It's got to be covered up now. They've got some matting here, which they're bringing down to cover up.
Oh, they're all over you, Lingy.
Yeah, they're down here to cover that up because they can't play with that in the last quarter. It's too dangerous for any of these players. Obviously, we saw what happened with Jared Roughead.
Just ask that guy to just say, excuse me at least, if he's going to do that. That's absolute nonsense.
Well, that would have been nice if he'd actually said, excuse me. But the good thing is, BT, it's covered up because the last thing we want is a player getting hurt seriously doing that because it's just not acceptable at all.
Well, that is occupational health and safety. They are dynabolts, and they are old dynabolts coming from an old plumber, Das, that have been there for a while. They haven't, one or two of them had a bolt on, a nut on top, but they can rip your back to pieces.
Yeah, very dangerous. Absolutely. The sub's been made in the meantime. David Hale is out. So he is going to be out, and Billy Hartung is the activated sub now. Well, they've got one of the bar mats out of the bar there to cover that down in front of the goal. Nice work from Lingy on the spot.
Yeah, and in all seriousness, there could have been a serious injury to Jared Ruffhead. He slid into that pretty hard.
Yeah. Bit of Today Tonight about it from a few years back, that was Lingy.
Investigative style reporting down there.
Yeah, he might open up yet another show. He's got a few. Here we go. Last quarter action, Hawthorn by 55 points here. What can Sydney show us in this last quarter to give us a glimmer of hope about them? And Gunston marks, so this is not a good start. He kicked 3 first quarter goals, and now he lines up for number 4.
Move right out. Thanks, John.
He's been a little bit quieter the last month, Jack Gunston. Spoke about his hand earlier. I think it affected his confidence a little bit, but he's got going again tonight. Beautiful shot at goal.
Thank you. Just with me.
He's getting close to the 200 goal range as well. Played all 14 games this year, Jack Gunston. Look at that. The goal umpire has not even moved. Gunston's got 4. Well, this ground here has featured the likes of Kathy Freeman and now Insane Bolt down there as the ground crew go to work to try and mop that one up. Sorry about that, Dust.
He could hardly wait to come back there.
I think we better go to another ad break and come back.
Oh, no. Why did I say that?
Surely we're not on air.
On that meter. Ben, 1 meter.
Insane Bolt.
Extraordinary scenes here. In more ways than one, as the Hawks have put on an incredibly dominant display. Stratton tumbles one out wide, and that's going to be out of bounds on the full. Zach Jones, young man, playing just his 8th game of AFL football. Came into the side 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
Not a lot of positive news for Sydney out of tonight, though, is there, Richo? There's nothing that you can hang your hat on and feel good about for them so far.
No, it's been a tough night.
Wow.
They just haven't been able to get a lot of flow and rhythm going. Hawthorn have been able to slow them down. It's had plenty of ball inside 50, but not a lot of quick ball, which doesn't give the forwards a great opportunity to score. They've been pretty inaccurate as well, but a lot of those have been snaps and rush behinds, not set shots.
Look at this forward pressure that they have to work their way through. Franklin gets wrapped up by Hodge, and they get it out, but it's ineffective and it's hard to handle. It's tumble punts all under pressure. There's good streams forward. Tippett's had a horror night. And again, he gets outmarked by Spanger.
Kurt Tippett is a big issue for Sydney, Das. I agree with you. He has had no influence on this game. He needs to work out a way to somehow give his team something, because getting outmarked down there is not acceptable. He's done nothing when he's gone into the ruck. And he's an important player for this Sydney lineup. If they've got to bail out and get the ball in long to him, he needs to compete. He needs to mark the footy. He needs to give his crummers a chance. At the moment, doing nothing for his team.
Well, I guess when you're winning every week, you escape that scrutiny a little bit. But in a loss like tonight, it stands out a little bit more for Kurt Tippett.
So, Das, the Hawks of the last couple of weeks have just been able to get hold of opponents, and gee, their average winning score
44 points over the last 6 weeks, BT, and you can add a 60-point number here tonight.
Yeah, here goes Stratton. He could have gone for home, then he tried to get it into Roughhead, knocked away by Grundy. In the end, Jordan Lewis won it. Got an accidental boot to the head from Mitchell there. Umpire calls play on Piopolo. Now Brust slipped the tackle. Easy goal. How's that?
It's a bit easy now.
Got banged into as he let it rip, though. So a 67-point lead here for Hawthorn, and Luke Brust just, I reckon, not seeing as he should at the moment. Didn't see the collision. It was late coming. Piopolo got the handball, looking for the give and go. The fend off, and now the contact comes. Jeddah at him. Just contact with the shoulder and head. It was marginal, but he's feeling the effects.
Yeah, the lower end of the impact, I guess, there. But it still did make a little bit of contact there. The problem for the Swans tonight, if we have another look at that, is the way they've been opened up through the middle of the ground. Again, Stratton coming through the middle of the ground, having 3 or 4 bounces. You don't normally see that against the Swans.
Swans managed to get this one forward, and Curvis showing a bit of skill there. Goods around the body, can it get some more bend on it? But, not quite enough and through for a minor score. Margin 66 points. John Longmire's worst ever losing margin as a coach, 63 points, which was the grand final last year. So you can see the displeasure on the Sydney Swans coach tonight. He has not been in this territory before.
So here's Bran, and we'll throw it in here. So it's a 66-point advantage, and Doctor just having a chat with Brewston. So good are they at detecting here. He'll be not risking anything there, the Doc, by allowing him to go on if he thinks he's not right. And they do that by, first of all, talking to the player. Here's quick hands, McVeigh, Hanbury and Rampy, all combining to get a forward-bound footy in the direction of Franklin. Good's got it through. Buddy looks around, caught, wanted to take him on. They gave him a good opportunity to get rid of it. And now Litherland rips it away for the Hawks.
Yeah, it was a great tackle from Burgoyne. And Litherland, sensing his opportunity to try and get a permanent spot. Well done to Gunston. He's had an enormous night.
Look at Lewis through the middle of the ground.
Yeah, he had Roughhead, he had Lewis. They just blown them apart tonight. It's just something you don't see against the Swans, is it? They're not running hard to defend.
So it started down the other end here with, you just said, Das, a great tackle on Lance Franklin. But that was deep inside their forward 50. The way they were able to transition that ball and have numbers through the middle of the ground is not the way the Swans normally defend.
72-point win last week over the top side, Fremantle. They bring Roughhead back in and he kicks 4 goals. And they're out to a 72-point margin.
Well, Hawthorn just brilliant with their ball movement. They have been all night with their efficiency, but this is as poor a defensive effort as I've seen from Sydney right across the ground for the whole season. They have just been far too easy to play against once Hawthorn have got the ball in their hands. Been okay in the contest, but not defensively across the ground.
Mitchell, don't know whether we'll get a chance to look at the live ladder. Hopefully we can in the next break, because this will be interesting to see where Hawthorn are at right now. Brandon Jack goes inside 50. They really needed to win this. Otherwise, it was going to be 2 games in arrears of Sydney. Now Hodge skips through traffic. Magnificent to Gibson. Little sharp one here from Gibson. Let it go there, Shields. Reeled it back in, and now Hodge goes for the all or nothing. Gunston here. And Reid will take it towards the boundary line and see if we can have a look at that live ladder. Here now, there it is, and you can see that Hawthorn, as a result, move ahead of Sydney by percentage, Richo.
Yeah, it really is a big win for them tonight, because stays in the hunt for a top 2 finish, which is what Hawthorn would want. Guaranteed home finals at the MCG. That's what you want, finish in the top 2, you get that.
Fremantle winning over Carlton at the moment tonight, the other game underway at the moment. Billy Hartung, the sub, he's an elite runner. Billy got one high from Nan Curvis.
Oh, that's Kurt Tippett there. You see his hand bandaged up. He came straight off after that boundary throw-in. Just a really sore right wrist, perhaps, might even be hand. So the news just gets a little bit worse for Sydney. Not happy, Kurt Tippett. He's had no influence tonight, and an injury as well.
And they might have some more dramas. Ted Richards been reported tonight. I think he'll miss games. What about the kick from Suckling? It's a 65-metre drop punt. They can't do anything wrong tonight, the Hawks. He kicked the cover off that one.
It was through the corridor again, Das. They were able to get the ball into the corridor again and have a shot from dead in front. Look at this. That's Matt Suckling, one of the best kicks in the comp. Just been able to get a handball received, dead centre, middle of the ground, and launched it. Huge kick. So the tale of woe continues.
Let's have a look at Tippett. What happened here? So pretty innocuous, isn't he? Grabbed his wrist straight away, and he wanted to get straight off the ground, Big Kurt. So he's had a horror night.
Wonder whether that could be broken, given the fact he grabbed it straight away. Have a look at that. The goals. Last 10 of the game. 9 of them going Hawthorn's way. And the Swans' biggest loss in the 2000s, 73 points, and 78 points up here now are Hawthorn. So this would be Hawthorn's almost their biggest win. Of course, they won by 105 points in round 7 against the Demons. So things working nicely for the Hawks.
They're going to be pretty short for the premiership after tonight.
Well, they are, but there's another team named Fremantle.
Yeah.
It's only lost 2 games. I know they...
But they got towed up by Hawthorn
last week. But on their home patch down there, Launceston, I think that makes a difference. I'm not saying it's... You know, I'm not saying it's everything, Richo, but I'm sure Hawthorn are better at the moment. Puopolo goes inside 50. Smith, bad bounce. The dangerous Cyril Rioli lurking. Got it on a string. Little one back inside. Little bit of Hollywood about that one here. Puopolo, Shaw pushed off. Just wait and see. That one was almost intercepted by Billy Hartung. The activated sub for Hawthorn.
Just wonder whether the Hawks are leaving a bit of scarring here for the future. We know that Fremantle and Sydney are going to feature in the finals. That's a given, but do you leave a bit of scarring? Do you just sow that doubt in their mind that, you know what, we know we can belt you off the park, and I feel the worse this gets, the harder, you know, it's going to be to come up and beat them again.
Well, 2 out of the last 3 games between these 2 teams now, they've been big beatings Hawthorn have laid out to Sydney.
Well, a bit of byplay there, but he's given his old mate Hodgie a little clip, and there's 50 metres, so Brian Lake's in there too. Listen to that. The rain's come down heavily. Let's have a look at this, Richo. So there's a bit happening off the ball. Brian involved. Now he's trying to clear the decks for...
What was the first free kick for? I can't work out what the first free kick was for.
There's a lot of acting going on there.
Hodgie wanted to get moving, and the rain coming down sideways at the moment here in Sydney, and a sliding mark taken by Teddy Richards, who was, as we mentioned earlier, reported in the game, and it was a high hit. I think he'll probably be looking...
Of course, the best statistician in the world, Josh, having a look at the radar, said there was not any sign of any rain at all. It's the first mistake he's made in 35 years, Josh, and it happened to be a weather report. There's Jeddah around the corner. Birchall won't be happy with me throwing him under the bus there either. Little one to Lewis. So this is just a frightening Hawthorn here at the moment.
Lee, do you buy into the mental scarring part of this at all? If you're a serious contender and you've been absolutely carted off the park, do you feel as though that leaves anything to think about, you know, when you're coming up against them in a final?
Oh, no doubt at all, Dus. I couldn't agree more. Any sort of belting like this really makes you doubt and have negative thoughts coming into any game coming against them. The only thing that Fremantle and Sydney perhaps can do from the last 2 weeks is they've now got time to work on a few things to throw at Hawthorn next time they play against them, to learn from what they've seen tonight and also last week in Launceston for Fremantle, and come up with a way that perhaps in September will just make it a bit harder for Hawthorn. But you're right, it's a big thing to overcome, that negative feeling of, gee, the best we throw at these blokes and they still carve us up and they still give us an absolute hammering. That's hard to overcome.
Swans have used 30 players this year. Hawthorn have used 33 this year. Interesting also that neither of these sides have played West Coast yet. We're into, what are we into, round 15, 16? Yeah. And neither have played West Coast round 16, so...
Looking forward to Hawthorn West Coast.
Yeah, just to measure, we know where Hawthorn are at, to measure West Coast.
Yeah, see where the Eagles had another win today. Took them a while to shake Collingwood at Etihad, but ended up with another 5-goal win, the Eagles. So that's going to be a ripping game, Hawthorn West Coast.
Yeah, well, they play them in 3 weeks. They've got Carlton, Richmond and West Coast Hawthorn over the next 3 weeks here. And for Sydney, they have got the West Coast Eagles next week over in Perth. So it's going to be a big test for them to travel on the back of this game here tonight. So they've got West Coast, Adelaide and Geelong, and then Collingwood. So got a really tough month, Sydney, coming. You need a bit of a predicament here. Brandon Jack to the running. Reece Shaw, who's been an outstanding get for the Sydney Swans since coming from Collingwood. There's Jeddah. Goes wide. Big boy McAvoy.
He's been good, Ben McAvoy, the last couple of weeks. Back into the team. They seem to rotate their ruckman a little bit, Das. Segler had a go for a while now. McAvoy comes in.
So you want to be in that rotation at the end of the year.
Yeah, you want to get the timing right there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, big boy got the timing right perfectly last year as Joey Kennedy slides one through. A rare goal for the Swans tonight here at ANZ Stadium.
I'll just check if this is 15. This was paid as play on there. Maybe just 15 play on called. Obviously, Josh Kennedy kicks the goal. Well, Brian Lake, as he likes to do, just straight over to the umpire. I reckon he wanted to pace it out, Brian. He wanted to make sure that that was 15 metres, chatting to the umpire all the way back as the ball went to the middle.
Well, Hawthorn are playing so well here tonight, Richo, that even Sydney's best players are former Hawthorn players, and Buddy and Kennedy. So
it's true, though, isn't it?
It's just a Hawthorn off.
Says a lot about their club, though, and how good they are. Even all the players that leave go somewhere else and become good players there.
There's very little waste on the Hawthorn list, isn't there? It's, you know, like you look at them and they all
develop their players so well.
So here's Jack. Tough kick, but he's nailed that. He's really kicked that well. It's going to just slither off. And barely miss. So 71 points here at the 17-minute mark. So
Birchall went to himself from full back and tying off Rufford out there, went with a bit of a round arm.
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. Bolt gate was fixed.
No.
They put the mat down, and because the mat is so slippery, he's gone over on the mat. So the bolt has ripped the skin open, and now they put the mat on, and it's like working in a bar. When you spill a beer or two, it's become that slippery that it's now an occupational health and safety.
They got that mat out of the drip tray up here. It's got about,
I think Mick Malloy spilled a couple of...
It's got about 15 Carlton drafts in it.
Oh, no.
But he's had a couple of nice moments tonight. Aside from that, it's been pretty hard going. It's just been outplayed in every aspect, really, tonight. Suckling bounced it forward. Gunston wants some more of this, and Rampy hoping to find the boundary line, and in the end, I think he'll get his wish. No, stayed in.
Over there. It's over now. What do you do now, BT? You've got to put something over the drip mat now.
Well, grass would be a good thing. I don't know.
Grass is your best option, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hasn't been a good night here for the groundsman. And then when Lingy is doing his investigative journalism best, the Matt's come in, the manager's come in and pushed him out of the way. Really was not good. Reid, fast hands, McVeigh. Lingy standing his ground like all good investigative journalists do. Cunningham. Today, tonight style. He'll be a chance to pick up a job like that in future, Lingy, with reports like that.
About the only thing he doesn't do at the moment, Lingy.
His own show, and he's just working all sort of angles. Here's Parker.
Going to choose to ignore you lot up there.
No, nice work, Lingy.
Old Magnum PI down there.
Gunston around the corner. Teddy Richards with the one-hander trying to make it work, but the long-striding Isaac Smith sees it over the boundary. And a lot of the crowd have left the arena here.
Yeah, it's been a disappointing night for the Sydney Swans all round. Doing a bit of soul searching after this, you would think. Burgoyne just couldn't quite get a handle on the footy. With his incredible skill, he went back and got it again. Kennedy through. McAvoy, he's just doing his job superbly at the moment for the Hawks. Through comes Billy Hartung, launches one in the Bruce direction. Oh, what a grab from Bruce. He just timed that to perfection, pirouetted his body perfectly to protect the ball, and he... Have a look at this. Good. Wow.
Oh, he's given that medial a little bit of a tweak there. Have a look at the way he lands here, Darcy, and it opens up the inside of the knee, the medial side of that left knee.
Oh, yeah. I think he's all right.
Yep.
Gee, it was a great mark. He is a complete player inside that forward line.
He's kicked 11 straight in the past month coming into tonight, Luke Bruce. You remember he kicked 29 straight last year, equaling the great Tony Lockett, something that he does as well as anyone in the game, and he makes no mistake again, Luke Bruce. He enjoys it, a little fist pump to go with it.
It's the next 4 games. for Hawthorn. So Carlton, Richmond, West Coast and Geelong for Hawks.
133 points kicked by Hawthorn tonight, the highest that this all-conquering Sydney defence has conceded.
Well, it just shows if you want to be the best, you've got to get out there and score like this Hawthorn team. It's a lot of low-scoring games going on at the moment, but the best team in Hawthorn just continue to score heavily every single week, and that's the benchmark, and that's what you've got to get to.
Is 5 goals a bag, Richo? Because that's what he's going for here.
5's definitely a bag.
Well, he's got a bag. He has got a bag. Jared Roughhead.
This just caps off a superb night, doesn't it, for the Hawks, to get their gun forward back rough, to get a 5-goal bag into him, and it just makes the whole place feel great, doesn't it? If you're in Hawthorn at the moment, you are feeling as though the world is starting to shape your way.
24th time he's kicked 5 goals or more.
You watch at the end of this game, the Hawthorn players so sensitive to stuff like that. I reckon they'll get over and get around Ruffy as well as a result of his return.
They've sent a big scare through the whole football community, that with Ruff. Great that we've got a brilliant outcome as they concede back to Gunston now. They're just going to control the footy here for a while, the Hawks. Gunston's been outstanding as well. What a complete performance it's been from the back-to-back premiers here tonight. Kick sent Brian a little bit of a task. He's created one to Suckling. 37,369 here tonight. Bristol, what do you think of that?
I reckon it's a good crowd, given, you know, ANZ Stadium. It's a particularly cold night up here in Sydney tonight. Got to travel all the way out. I reckon it's a good result in the end. 37,369, as you say. I know their average is a little bit higher than that. But well done to those that have made it to the ground now. Jared Roughhead, if a bag's 5, what's 6, Richo? A haul?
No, it's still a bag. There's different degrees of bags.
Okay, so it's a big
bag. You start at 4, which should just be a little sports bag. Then this gets up into your sort of larger sports bag area.
Suitcase?
Suitcase is 8.
What?
8 and above is a suitcase.
And here is Jared Roughhead testing his depth from 50 metres out, and it just misses.
And if you get... 1's not a bag. If you take 2 or 3 home, it's a little toilet bag. Bristle.
A little carry-on, you know, on the aeroplane style. Richard, 3 or 4?
3 or 4 is your carry-on style bag.
Well, doing it really well here at the moment. The Hawks, a whopping 84 points as we enter the last 4.5 minutes of this game. Brian Lake, look at that, monstering a little man. Brian did it really well, and he's got back out there. He had a bit of a worry with his knee, but he looks to be okay. And can't say the same for Kirk Tippett, Lingy. He looks, well, he's not taking any further part, is he?
No, he's not. You're right. He's staying on the bench, obviously not wanting to risk that wrist, or as you even said with the knock, maybe a little break in the forearm, but yeah, not sure. They're not prepared to risk him at all.
Maybe not. Who knows?
There's Kurt Tippett.
Well, no ice on it, though, which is a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, it's a horror night, isn't it? Look at that. No goals, no score, just the 8 disposals. He's been out there for a lot of minutes too and hasn't had any impact at all. They just want the siren to blow now desperately, Sydney. Put them out of misery.
Sorry, Dus. And not just 0 contested marks that you can see there. He has taken 0 marks for the entire game. You cannot have Kurt Tippett not marking the football at all. He needs to be better than that.
Sure.
Well, it just puts more pressure on Franklin to have to do a lot more inside 50.
One of only 4 players on the ground, 2 from each side, that haven't actually taken a mark, and as Lingy says, Tippett is one of those. It is staggering. See Bird sitting next to him. He was out, which looks like an Achilles injury as well, and forlorn faces everywhere you look in the Sydney camp at the moment. Johnny Longmire won't be enjoying this one little bit, and with some concerns over injury, concerns over Teddy Richards, and the Sydney next 4 to come. It's a real tough month ahead for the Sydney Swans. Luckily, they've got themselves into the advantage, I guess, playing a good start first half of the season, getting yourself in a good position.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting week for them next week over in Perth against the informed West Coast Eagles.
Well, that is a tough road trip at any stage when you've got to go to Perth, but the Eagles are pretty formidable at the moment.
McAvoy, left-handed spoil, was effective. Brandon Jack can only kick it as far as Brian, who's prepared to go to a one-on-one across the ground to Gibson and back in superior aerial strength of Gibbo, and he didn't let him down. Really winding down this game, isn't it? It's just the Hawks maintaining possession. It's a big score, isn't it, against Sydney, 22-8. I feel like if they get it down there, they'll just keep scoring. Rioli sets himself. Kept his feet as always. Puopolo.
He keeps his feet too, doesn't he?
A great combination, those two. Look at the clever kick from
big
Mitchell.
boy.
The big boy is now a capable forward, Richo. He's got another string to his bow, and it's very important for him.
Yeah, it's a great sign. Look at this, though. Puopolo doesn't go to ground, neither does Rioli. Their opponent does in Rampy. And then hands out to this, just lace out to McAvoy.
Imagine leading to Sam Mitchell.
You'd love to do that for a career, wouldn't you? Every time it goes inside 50, they are going to score Hawthorn. The big boy McAvoy's had a good night as well. He's happy. The Hawks lead it by 90 points. He's got 2.
Have a look at the inside 50s. Both sides been in there 50 times. Look at the conversion differential there.
Yeah, it's scary how efficient they are, and it's because of their ball use.
There's got to be some sort of record, I would have thought.
Yeah. There's Spanger. Smith.
It's their ball use and the amount of players down there that are dangerous. Every one of their forwards, when they've got the opportunity, can win one-on-ones or get to the right positions.
Spanger with the banana around the corner. Bruce in the right spot. So this game coming to a grinding halt. And Hawthorn have been exceptional tonight. Kennedy here. Kicked it into the back of his own man, Grundy's scone. And now Hartung finds himself in a fight. The big fella there, Nankervis as well. McVeigh waited for Bruce to go and get it, and he was caught and gave that knee another twist there. So they're really testing out Luke Bruce's knees at the moment.
So they've had 5 players tonight who've taken multiple marks inside 50, whereas Sydney have had 1, Lance Franklin. So it was a one-man band down one end, and you've just got 5 or 6 guys that can take multiple marks down the other. And that's the major difference going inside 50.
This will be the biggest score ever kicked against the John Longmire coach team. It's his biggest ever losing margin. And a forgettable night for the Sydney Swans. As Luke Hodge, who was really instrumental early, fighting it out. And just looking for the siren here, Sydney.
They are indeed. Hanbury through the middle of the ground. And I'm going to give you a question with notice, Lingy. I want you to sum up the Hawks in a paragraph, if you could, for me at the next opportunity we get in this game as McAvoy trying to burrow it out. What do you make of them? Lingy, what do you make of the Hawks?
As Jared McVeigh's going to kick, nearly an amazing goal there by Jared McVeigh, but siren goes. Hawthorn just so good, too good, brilliant play by them, BT.
Yep. Win number 11 for the Hawks. Their 3rd position on the ladder, and they are the premiership favourites.
Where the mighty fighting Hawks, we love our club and we play to win, riding the bumps with a grin and Hawthorn. Come what may, you'll find us striving. Teamwork is the thing that
Yes, an 89-point victory for the Hawks, and Lingy's down there with Cyril Rioli.
I certainly am, BT. Well, Cyril, that just, you blew us away that first quarter. Just such an impressive performance. Do you even surprise yourself sometimes with the footy that you play?
I'm just trying to go out there and play my role and work as hard as I can to cause pressure. And, you know, the boys down there did pretty well, and especially in the midfield around the stoppages, we definitely worked pretty hard and, you know, got the ball in and we scored pretty well.
Last year, you know, you had some issues with your injuries and obviously came back for the grand final. This year, you just seem so much fitter. Your body seems better. Is that the way you're feeling as well? Yeah, I'm definitely feeling pretty confident after the pre-season I had and doing a lot of leg work and a lot of hill stuff. So fully confident in my body and, you know, very happy to be getting, you know, a few more games during the year, which is good. And pretty great to have the big rough back. Obviously, everything that he's been through over the last few weeks, and then comes back and just slots a lazy 5 goals. He did pretty well, Rough. He fitted in perfectly. We did miss him in the forward line. He's the one that's, you know, always setting us up and talking down there. So, you know, it was definitely good to come back and win for him up here. It's been a big couple of weeks, hasn't it? Freo, Sydney, but you guys have made a statement. Oh, definitely. You know, we didn't start the season off pretty well. So, you know, the second half of the season, you know, we strung a few wins together, and you know, we got Carlton next week on Friday night, which is going to be pretty solid because they've been going pretty good as well. Great effort tonight, mate. Fantastic. Great.
He's just a sensation, Cyril Rioli. 20 possessions, 3 goals, 1, 11 contested possessions tonight, and he's always right on the edge with his game. Lingy's down there with Jack Gunston.
I have Jack Gunston, 4 goals. It'd be nice to hit the score sheet yourself in that accurate kicking, because you've missed a couple throughout the year. We don't usually see that from you.
Yeah, I have. I've been pretty disappointed in front of goals this year, and I've been working a fair bit, and it's going to take time. It'll come back, and it was good to see tonight that I kicked the ones that I kicked straight. Probably shouldn't do that one around the corner, but yeah, no, it was nice to kick a bit straighter. Well,
the forward line functioned so well. Right across the ground, you guys attacked well, but obviously Ruffy kicking 5, you 4, Cyril 3. Just the multiple options. It must be nice to have that flexibility.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what we've been working on in the last few years, getting that sort of multiple options up forward, and it definitely comes back to the midfield supply and the way they kick the ball in and lower their eyes and hit the targets. It was it was great tonight.
Has it been a particular focus the last 2 weeks playing Fremantle and Sydney that you guys wanted to get back to your absolute best against the best opposition?
Oh, you always want to play your best footy no matter what week it is, and you know, when you come against these sides, they were above us on the ladder, and you got to play 4-quarter footy, and it's good that we've been able to hit the scoreboard, and probably most of it's a lot to the accuracy. I think tonight we kicked 8 points, so yeah, it was nice to finish off the good work from up the field.
Just keep doing that every week. Be very nice, mate. Well done tonight. Great job.
Jack Gunston down there with Lingy. Lingy's going to go down in the rooms, and we're going to hear the song on the other side of the break. We look forward to that. It was an 89-point victory tonight for Hawthorn. Also joining us on the other side of the break, the returning Jared Roughhead. There he is, the man of the moment. He kicked 5 tonight, and he will be with Darson Richo shortly after the break.
Incredible performance from the Hawks here at ANZ Stadium. 89-point winners. Richo and I inside the Hawthorn rooms, and they're a pretty happy team at Hawthorn tonight. Yeah, incredible performance. A fairly jubilant Hawthorn team, as you would imagine. Kicked the